Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Get Sweaty. Once again, I am your friendly neighborhood soda, Matt Majot, joined as usual by my man, Ben Hot Take Rainer. And today we have very special guests making, one of them is making his on-screen debut. First, I'd like to introduce the man that made the awesome video package that you just witnessed. Ben, also known as 50 Shades of Geek. How you doing?
Ben is not my name, but never mind. It's close enough. 50 Shades of Geek is good enough.
Okay, we'll call you 50. And then on the bottom right is my friend Richard Shanmagavilu, who I currently work with, and is actually recording this from my living room. How you doing, Richard?
Good. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to get on here.
No problem. You nervous?
A little bit. Not too much, though.
You'll be all right.
So question, though. I have
yes.
a question. Are you guys filming from different rooms because you're socially distancing?
Well, we work together, so we're kind of in the same bubble, but no, it's just easier to do it in the other room.
Makes sense.
Yeah, not so much overlap with sound and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, it was a bad joke anyway.
It's okay. We're full of those. All right. So, for those of you who are familiar with the show, you know what we're doing. But for those who are not, we usually break it down into 3 segments. We've got movie news, we've got sports news, and we have our top 5. So today we're going to break down the movie news. Ben, since Jordan's not here, do you want to do the movie news?
Sure, I'll do it. Again, the first topic I want to talk about is The Lion King 2019. It's getting a sequel and a prequel, kind of. It's kind of like Godfather Part 2. We're going to move forward in the story, but we're also going to get Mufasa's back story. So that's pretty cool. What do you guys think about that?
I actually like that. I like that they're going very nice with the Timon, my man. Very nice. No, I personally like that just because after seeing what they did with a carbon copy of the first one, it's nice to see them do something original with the sequel. I mean, they could have gone the Romeo and Juliet route that the cartoon did, but I like that they're doing this Godfather 2 type thing. How about you guys?
Do you want to go first, or should I go?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, The Lion King is my all-time favorite movie. Like,
really?
On. And this little Timon here is about 22 years old.
Holy crap.
I've had it since I was a little baby, and I actually took it with me to the screening of the live-action Lion King, and every time Rafiki holds up Simba, I just hold him up like this, and I had people coming up to me and say, "Oh, dude, thank you so much for doing that. You really made the movie for me." But yeah, The Lion King, I'm a huge fan of The Lion King, and I really enjoyed the live-action version. Not as much as I was hoping, but then again, it's hard to surpass your favorite movie of all time. And the thing is, the reason why I asked you guys to come on the show and talk about this topic specifically is because what Star Wars is to Ken Napzok, The Lion King is to me.
Really?
I know that franchise backwards and forwards, inside and out. And I watched the movie in 3 different languages, believe it or not.
Holy cow.
I've watched that movie, by the way, well over 1,000 times. I used to come back from home, from school. I watched it on a VHS tape. I watched the whole movie, rewind it, watched it again, rewind it again, watched it for a 3rd time, and I did that for about 2 years straight. So that's over 1,000 times by my count.
Wow.
I know every single line of dialogue. I know every sound effect in that movie. Whenever I want to watch it, I don't even have to watch it. I can just recite it in my mind. But see, the thing is, when they mentioned that they're doing some of the backstory, Mufasa's backstory is very little known, but it's actually pretty fascinating, especially Scar's backstory, especially since there are 2 backstories for Scar's. For those of you who don't know, Scar's original name...
I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that I'm blowing your mind right now. Yeah, I'm used to that. Scar's original name is Taka. Mufasa gave him the name Scar after he got his scar, and there are actually 2 origin stories of how he got the scar. But the more canon version is the one introduced in the Lion Guard TV show recently, where, for those of you who don't know, I'm just setting this up for the audience. There's this thing called the Lion Guard, which there's this law in the Pride Lands that every generation there are two lions. And the oldest one is the king, and I can always see that I'm boring you guys, so I'll move on.
No, go ahead. Really.
Okay.
Lines.
Okay.
Stuff is always great.
Okay. So moving on, there's an older lion to lead the pride, the younger lion to protect it. The younger lion is the leader of this thing called the Lion Guard. It's sort of, kind of like the Avengers of the Pride Lands. It's made up of the Pride Lands' fiercest, bravest, strongest, fastest, and keenest of sight. 5 lions. The fiercest, obviously, is the brother of the king, and the brother, in most cases, receives this specialized roar. So whenever he roars, it's like this supersonic boom that can move mountains. It can change the weather. So it's incredibly powerful. And Scar obviously was the second born, so he had that power, and he kind of let that power go to his head a little bit. And then there was this mysterious lion that we still don't even know his name yet, according to the show. He had this friend Cobra who bit Scar on the eye, gave him the scar, and apparently, because this stuff works in the Lion King universe, snake venom makes you evil. And the Lion King lore, sort of the mark of evil is an eye with a scar on it. That's why Scar had it, Kovu had it in the sequel. So any lion that has that sort of a mark on its eye, is kind of destined to be evil, and that's why Scar turned evil. So he kind of used the roar to roar the evil lion away, and he went back to Mufasa expecting to be praised for his heroism and protecting the Pride Lands. And all Mufasa did was he nicknamed him Scar, and he kind of gave him this good little pat on the back and said, "You did a good job." And that's when Scar kind of lost it, and he tried to use the Lion Guard to overthrow Mufasa, and the Lion Guard disagreed with him, so he used the roar and just blew them out of the Pride Lands. And the elder lions, the lions of the past, the kings of the past, they got very mad at Scar, so they took away his power. And,
okay.
So yeah, that's why Scar was so hell bent on taking out Mufasa's entire bloodline, with Mufasa and obviously Simba. So again, there's no guarantee that they'll actually try to explore that in the show. There's also another angle they can take, which is Mufasa and Scar's, or rather Taka's father, Ahadi, was a very strict, iron fist sort of a lion. I don't want to say he was a dictator. He kind of ruled justly, but he wasn't quite as compassionate as Mufasa was. Maybe that's where Scar gets his personality from. Actually, Mufasa got his compassionate side from his mother, Uru. And kind of after the boys were, the 2 lion cubs were born, Ahadi immediately took Mufasa under his wing, or rather his paw, and he kind of trained him and groomed him to be this king. And he almost practically neglected Taka. And his mother Uru kept telling him, "You're special. You're going to do great things one day." You know, that the sort of stuff that mothers do. And his father really never looked at him twice. So in that the original origin, this predates the show. In that version of events, Scar kind of angered this water buffalo, this extremely territorial and angry water buffalo. He angered him because he was hoping that he was going to kill Mufasa. So kind of like the stampede. Maybe that's where Scar got the idea for the stampede.
Oh, okay.
But at the very last second, Rafiki, who was just a wandering nomad at that point, he showed up, and he saved the younger Mufasa's life. That's why they have that sort of relationship. And the water buffalo was still pissed. I can't remember the name of the water buffalo. I apologize. But he got so pissed at Scar that he smashed into his head, and that's how he got the scar in the original version of the events. Obviously, there was retcon for the show, but so yeah, either one of those origins could work. Maybe they can decide to do something original. Again, just like the Marvel comic in the MCU, they can choose different elements. They can just like the Star Wars franchise is doing now. It's taking bits and pieces from Legends and kind of integrating them into the story.
Yeah.
But they necessarily have to stick to the original sequence of events.
Well, before we get your thoughts on the thing, Richard, I could see them kind of going more towards the first one that you mentioned with the whole Lion Guard, just to tie in that series. But then if you bring in the pre Lion Guard thing, add a little bit of that to it, I think that would make a great story. Like you had me captivated just listening to it.
Yeah, because by the way, did you know that Simba and Nala actually had 4 cubs?
No, I only was only aware
the first one was in the first Lion King movie, where at the very end where Rafiki lifts him up. That one was called Fluffy, and it was never actually seen again in anywhere in the franchise. And I think they even they said it in an interview once. They just made up the name Fluffy just to give it a name. But then in the sequel, obviously they had Kiara.
I thought it was the same cub.
No, it wasn't, because here's the thing. If you'll notice at the very end of the Lion King, Simba, Nala, Timon, and Pumbaa are standing on Pride Rock, and then Rafiki shows up holding the cub in his arms.
Yeah.
In the Lion King sequel, Rafiki is standing alone on that thing, and it was sunrise, not midday.
Oh,
and that's when Simba and Nala show up, and they have Kiara with her. So it's 2 completely different cubs.
Gotcha. Okay, because I only remember the whole "it's a girl" thing, and then they cut to the the title.
Yeah, because you can tell it's kind of a different story. Because
okay.
Why would they have a coronation twice with the same cub?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so also there's an older cub, Copa, I believe. Another interesting story, by the way. I don't think they're going to do that in the sequel, but I'm assuming you've seen the animated sequel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I own Lion King 2 and 1.5. Yes.
Okay, so in one of the books, which kind of predates, well, it came out after the movie, but it takes place before the movie. It's sort of a prequel. Copa, Simba's second son, he kind of fell in love with Zira's daughter, Vitani. But Zira didn't really like that, so she kind of set it up that that Copa was gonna meet Vitani, but then she told Vitani to stay home. So then Zira showed up and killed him, and that's why Simba hates her so much.
That explains quite a bit.
And also the 4th son, which is the cub, the main star of the show, Kion, is the younger brother of Kiara. He's the one that gets the roar in that show. And the reason why you didn't see him in the Lion King sequel is because in the 3rd season, this is, by the way, a spoiler, he also gets bitten by a snake, and he's afraid that he's going to turn evil because of the whole story with Scar. So him and his friends, the Lion Guard of that generation, they venture to a different land, a place called the Tree of Life, sort of to get him healed, to get rid of the venom. And while they're on that journey, the events of the Lion King 2 take place. And
so this Lion Guard takes place before 2?
The Lion Guard, the first 2 seasons take place before, well, after the beginning of 2, after Kiara was young, so kind of after she met Kovu and stuff. Then after that, Kion was born. Then the first 2 seasons take place. Then the 3rd season kind of takes place during the second movie, and the series finale was when after Kion got healed and his friends came back. And after they came back after the battle with Zira and her lionesses, and Vitani actually became the leader of the Lion Guard while Kion was away, because they thought Kion was dead.
Well, I just added the Lion Guard to my viewing list.
Yeah, me too.
I never thought twice.
Do you have any kids, Matt?
Do I have any what?
You have any
no,
children?
I don't. But Richard does.
Yeah, no, I do.
Your kids are gonna love it. I mean,
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking.
Primarily aimed at children. It's a Disney Juniors show, I believe, 4 and up. But kids are gonna love it. I really loved it, and I'm a kid at heart. So
yeah, no kidding. I'm definitely, and once we're done this, I'm gonna start watching it. Okay, so Richard, what are your thoughts on the sequel?
Well, I'm not going to be able to follow that, but it was really interesting to think of, to hear all that backstory.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about the fact that they're doing a prequel is with like what we're going to talk about with Cobra Kai, there's the ability to give what were 2-dimensional characters a lot more depth. And so you can see their motivations to why they are the way they are. And what you're saying with the Lion Guard, it kind of ties in with what my daughter's been watching with the Tangled series. on
I haven't
Disney
watched
Plus.
that yet. Sorry.
It's actually really, really good. The animation starts off a little bit flash-like, so it kind of is a little bit hard to watch in the beginning. But as I guess they got more funding or whatever, it seems to get a lot better as it gets through. But it gives you like such a rich backstory to the world and how magic works in the world and stuff. So stuff like that, like Disney has such an ability to like take these rich stories and like make such an expanded universe around it. So to see what they'll do with the sequel will be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna actually thank you for reminding me. The Lion Guard is basically Cobra Kai for the Lion King.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cobra Kai for kids.
Yeah, Cobra Kai for kids. Sort of like
Right
a
down to the
mixture of
stick
Cobra Kai and Rebels.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
You know what? I had no interest watching the Lion Guard, honestly, but until hearing you talk about it, 50, I am completely sold.
Yeah,
My work here is done.
Yeah. Very nice.
Would you guys mind if I turn on the air conditioner because it's getting hot in here?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You lucky
I
dog.
just hope you don't.
It's hot over there,
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, I live in a desert.
Where
We
me
live
and
in a-
Richard are, we're getting our summer a little late, so we had like our 30-degree weather like 2 weeks ago.
It's summer brain.
We're getting our winter late every year.
Oh, fair enough. Oy. Okay, so Ben, on to the second story.
Well, that was a good story. Let me tell you about this one now. Who remembers the Amazing Spider-Man 2? Who remembers Electro? Who liked Electro?
It's hard to forget.
I'm in the middle.
He's back in the new Spider-Man movie. What the fuck? Out of everyone, they bring back Electro? Really?
Well, okay. Here's the thing. I've been thinking about this. From the pre-MCU stuff, he's really the only villain you could bring back. Because think about it. Green Goblin's dead.
Mhm.
Doc Ock is dead. Lizard, I believe, is dead.
No, he's in jail.
Okay. So you could have brought Lizard. Okay, fair enough. Venom, he was dead. Sandman, dead.
Is he?
Sandman
I think
was
they
he
kind of-
disintegrated. He kind of disintegrated. I think that
He's integrated by choice, though, because he was.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
okay. It's been a long time since I saw Spider-Man 3, but I kind of felt after he found out his daughter was okay, he kind of.
But
You know.
he said it was okay, but he kind of went into the wind, didn't he? Like, it
Yeah,
blown away.
okay,
So
I
he
kinda-
could have went somewhere. Like, you never know.
So that one
Yeah,
you
I
can
mean,
take
he's
either
made
way.
of Sten, so that's how Sten travels.
Yeah, fair enough. And then what about Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin?
Also jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
They had that.
wasn't that many
What?
you could choose from.
Yeah.
No.
But you're forgetting the most important thing. In the MCU, they bring back everybody back to life.
Yeah, I guess. But one of the things I did hear, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but it's not going to be that version.
Yeah, it's not confirmed. I heard
Yeah.
it might look different.
Richard?
Another thing as well too. Like, didn't they kind of set up Shockwave in Homecoming? Like with they kind of did. Shocker. It was a Shockwave or Shocker?
Shocker.
Yeah,
I think Shockwave is from
Shocker.
DC.
Shocker. Yeah. Well, they kind of set him up because it was the guy. There was those two guys, the black guy and the white guy, that were selling the
Oaken
arms.
Woodbine.
The white guy had kind of the gauntlets, right? So they kind of set him up. I'm amazed they didn't bring him back for anything.
Or Scorpion, to be for that matter.
Yeah, or Rhino. Or they didn't do anything with Rhino.
Oh yeah, that's right, Rhino.
Yeah, that's true.
He
Rhino
was
another
rumored
one.
to be like another one too, right?
I don't think he wants to come back. I don't blame him. He was so over the top.
Yeah.
I am Rhino.
Oh man.
Oh, that's amazing. My thoughts on this is they're going Spider-Verse.
Yeah, probably.
Sinister Six probably they're setting up, right?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, 50.
Since you said Spider-Verse, maybe somewhere out there in the Spider-Man multiverse, there's a universe where Amazing Spider-Man 2 is actually good. Who knows?
I like that.
Yeah, that's definitely a great thought.
I'll be honest with you. I liked Amazing Spider-Man 2. I liked it better than the first one. I'm not a really big fan of the Amazing Spider-Man 1 because I think Spider-Man was kind of a douche in that movie. And
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is more Spider-Man-ish.
Yeah.
I think before Tom Holland, that was the most Spider-Man we've ever gotten in live action.
I'm with you there.
Series included. But I mean, as soon as I saw Electro, I didn't think they actually revealed it in a 5-minute trailer, for God's sakes. But they revealed Electro with the bad hair and the sunglasses and the awkward sort of the more clumsy version of Clark Kent. So I remember as soon as I saw that, I was like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Is that not consistent with his backstory? Like,
No,
I don't really know.
I don't know about the backstory, but I mean, just the way the character looks, I don't know. It just didn't feel right.
It was very, I don't know, kind of just like stereotypical nerd guy.
Yeah,
He was basically Jim Carrey in Batman Forever.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
He was the Riddler.
Yeah.
I think they kind of copied the backstory too.
The original origin of Electro is he's an electrical engineer and lineman who got a kind of freak lightning accident while repairing.
Yeah, I remember.
So it's similar-ish to what they did. Just for some reason they added an electric eel.
Yeah,
because I think what they were going for was sort of the ultimate universe, the ultimate version of Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, where Oscorp sort of became the reason for all of these villains that they existed. They created the Lizard in the first movie. They created obviously Rhino, and at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2 and 1, they had this mysterious character, Gustav Pearce, who kind of had this warehouse with the vulture wings and Doc Ock tentacles. So he was kind of responsible for creating all the villains. So yeah, I think that's the origin they were going for, because comic book characters have multiple origins.
No, for sure.
Origins?
Oh, yeah. Hey, who likes? If it's an orange, it's probably a Francis Ford Coppola film. Honestly, I'm with you. The version of Electro we got was definitely a hit and miss. It had potential, but it just fell flat. Really, for me, the only thing that worked in that movie was the Spider-Man Gwen dynamic. That's the only thing that worked.
They did that cool.
And what's sorry, Richard?
Yeah. Well, they did do that pretty well.
Oh yeah, for sure. They nailed it.
Let me ask you guys this: do you guys, with Electro coming back, do you think and do you want Andrew and Toby to come back?
Eventually,
if they do a multiverse.
Eventually, yes.
Because really, Tobey Maguire is
the guy from the '70s show. I mean, if you're going multiverse, go all in on it.
No, I'm 100% with 50. Yeah, if you're gonna go that way, just go all in. I would like to see them if they're gonna pop up like we got with Spider-Man 2099 in Spider-Verse.
Okay.
The end credit scene tease.
Okay. No, you know what?
Right?
Sorry?
It was Oscar Isaac, right?
Oscar, yes, that was Oscar Isaac. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Nice. I don't know. So you know what? They're in the movie. You want that tease.
Exactly. I kind of want to like they did with Nick Fury the very first time we saw him. There's absolutely very few hints of something going on, but at the very end you get the reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I want to point out something in the first Iron Man movie. It's a very slow progression. First you get introduced to Coulson, then you get introduced to the acronym. Then at the very end of the movie, they spell out SHIELD for you because they didn't have that acronym before. Yeah. Even though they later retconned it, but then obviously you get to the post-credit scene. With,
and I think that's the way they should go. Tease a little bit,
excellent,
and then boom, here we go. Yeah.
Tell me, most of them are only getting older. There's only so many years you have with them, and
I'm more worried about Toby because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Andrew Garfield is closer to our age.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit older.
Okay.
I think it was 30 in The Amazing Spider-Man 1, I think.
Really? Andrew Garfield. I got Wikipedia.
Or maybe he was 30 in the second one.
Oh, shit. He's 37.
I mean,
oh
wow. Really? He's 37?
Yeah, 37.
Wow. Well, I mean, really, realistically, even if they are older, it can be a thing where it's like some sort of dystopian Spider-Man future in their universe or something, and like kind of tied in together where they're having to come to the other universe to save it. But you could do something like that.
They could go a different route with those characters. Yeah. My friend Dave over on the Schmoes of the North, he recommended a book to me called Spider-Man Life Story. Basically, it felt like he encounters all the same stuff that he's had in the past, but instead of it like all containing when he's like really young, it follows him as he gets older. So maybe they could have them as older versions of Spider-Man. So you could have like the Tobey Maguire be like a late 40s, whatever. He's seen some shit, and then you could have like more Andrew Garfield as the middle-aged thing. They could do that, kind of like what we got with Peter B. Parker.
Okay, yeah.
Good point.
But I think we can all agree. I think when Tobey Maguire makes his entrance, I think he has to do a dance, right?
Oh,
The dance is in the frame.
No, that's so not
Only
what
if
I
he's
thought
holding
we're
a water
going
while
with
doing
that. Then.
He'll just slide in like he did across the bar.
I have to.
oh, of course. I
Wow.
have to admit, I am due for a rewatch of all those. So,
Yeah, why not? Can I just point out something? We live in a very exciting world for these things to happen because have any of you guys watched the Lego Batman movie?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But so here's where I'm going with this. Not only Batman was fighting the Joker in that movie and 60 other Batman villains, he was also fighting villains from other studios.
Yeah,
That's true.
Sauron.
Yeah, he was fighting Daleks and King Kong and Sauron, the Gremlins, for heaven's sakes, Agent Smith,
Yeah.
plural.
Great.
So, yeah, we live in very exciting times. Have any of you guys heard of the Lego Dimensions video game by any
for sure.
chance?
Yeah.
Maybe that can
played it,
happen.
but I know a friend of ours had. Yeah, no, that would be actually really good. I'm surprised they haven't tried that yet for an extended universe.
Maybe that's what they were going for, but then the movies just didn't make the money. The Lego,
Which is unfortunate because outside of Ninjago, they're all really good movies.
Well, the Ninjago one isn't terrible. The second one's actually not too bad.
One second.
I
Oh, the
never
second
What was
thought
our
one.
first one? Yeah, the Lego one. There's only
Yeah.
one.
I still
This
say
is
the
not
best
bad.
one is the Batman, the Lego Batman.
Me too. That's my favorite Batman movie, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, favorite Batman movie.
Wow.
Okay, what's your favorite part of the movie? For me, it's how they play up like Joker, Batman as like spurned lovers.
Yeah.
Favorite part of the movie. I love the movie so much. I haven't even actually thought about that. The movie just hits you over the head every second. Like he arrives at the Fortress of Solitude, he rings the doorbell, and it's the John Williams theme for Superman.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's, first of all, let's just acknowledge the fact that Batman was fighting Daleks on screen. I just want to point that out. And they didn't even know, Joker doesn't even know their name. Oh, they're English robots. Ask your geeky friends. I mean, every part of the movie, just from the beginning where even the logos in the intro, Batman is talking over the logos. And then they bring up the Michael Jackson quote and he says, no, Michael Jackson didn't say that. I did. And then before you even get to the movie itself, Batman keeps talking about himself and he talks about how he has a ninth ab.
Yeah.
And then you get the actual movie.
Oh God, I gotta rewatch that one too.
I don't think I've actually singled out a specific part. Maybe I should think about that.
Yeah, no worries.
I think my favorite part is when Alfred and Bruce are talking, and then they're going through every single Batman iteration.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yes. The Batusi.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going through time.
Yeah, what about you? Do you have a favorite part?
Not that I can really think of. I mean, it works so good cohesively together. Like it just strolls into one part from another. You can't really like even separate it. It's just like one continuous like barrage of stuff. I don't know, but just all those villains coming into it and how they how they interact.
It is honestly the best. Like I know I hit it on with my favorite one, but it is the best representation of the Joker and Batman relationship. Am I not mistaken?
Aside from Arkham Knight,
aside from the Arkham series, yeah.
Better than Heath and Christian in The Dark Knight? Really?
No. I meant like describe their relationship, like why they're so yin and yang.
Yeah, they're dichotomy.
I don't think in The Dark Knight they had enough time to set up that relationship as much as they did in the second. Because in the Lego Batman movie, they've known each other for years.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like in the Nolan verse, Batman's kind of an afterthought for the most part. Like, I mean, compared to the villains, that's what it kind of seems like.
Tim Burton too. I just rewatched Batman and Batman Returns, and in Batman Returns, he's totally an afterthought.
It's weird.
Yeah.
They don't focus on that enough. The first one kind of focuses on it more.
And kind of Batman and Robin, I think.
Yeah. You don't really set up much with Ra's al Ghul or anything, even in the first one. Like, he's kind of his teacher, but then it doesn't really set up their relationship too well.
Any of you guys watched Teen Titans Go to the movies?
Yes.
That's another very good example. It's another very good example of these studios, sort of big, giant corporations, laughing at themselves, making fun of themselves, and bringing everything that fans like all the characters from Teen Titans Go, all of the characters from the Lego Batman movie, Spider-Verse. What's another good example?
Even
Oh,
Deadpool,
shoot,
you know, so-
Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Yeah,
With the
yeah,
princesses.
1 and 2, yeah.
I think we're now living at an age where the studios have evolved into a point where they can allow themselves to make fun of themselves because they know the fans are going to do it anyway.
Yeah, they're more self-aware for sure.
Yeah, you can
That's
easily
the
get
one I was
away with that with animation, I find, because they know what they have, they know what they are. The live action people take themselves way too seriously, so I don't think you're ever going to see that live action, which is
Also,
unfortunate.
it's easier in animation.
Yeah, true.
But I'll tell you, going back to the Spider-Man thing, like you said, the live action is a problem, and here's why: Sony.
True.
Yeah, because Sony, I mean, they make good movies, they make good Spider-Man movies, but a lot of the times when they have this runaway hit, they just don't know how to follow it up too much.
Well,
I feel like it's too
It
much
was
studio
fine with
time.
Far From Home, but that's because he had a lot of help from Kevin Feige, I believe. I mean,
Yeah, and same with Homecoming. Well, that's the whole thing. All the solo Spider-Man movies are all Marvel things. So if they were to do a Spider-Verse, they'd have to have Marvel Studios attached to it somehow.
yeah. I just hope the next Spider-Verse sequels will be.
Do you think they make like they do it where they start with individual movies and then bring it all together to try and like do an Avengers sort of thing, or do you think they just roll right into it?
If they
Like do a
if they
Miles
follow
Morales
the
movie?
model of the Avengers, yes. If they try to do like the Dark Universe tried to do and like say right off the bat what it is,
Or even
failure.
Justice League, it's going to be kind of tough if they try to
I
do that
put
model
Justice
too.
League in the middle of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Justice League
It seems so forced.
kind of. I mean, Justice League didn't blow their load in the first movie. Like,
Yeah.
No.
Man of Steel didn't have too many references. That they doubled down on it in Batman versus Superman, and then
Yeah, whereas in the Mummy, they pretty much laid their dick on the table.
yeah, I never saw that.
they had Dr. Jekyll in the first movie.
Yeah, like instead of
He's the Nick Fury.
focusing solely on the Mummy, they introduced this whole world that you didn't need right off the
He
bat.
walks into a room with skulls with fangs on them
Yeah,
and all kinds of stuff.
yeah,
I
it,
can't
it,
even remember.
it took away from what it was, which on your very first movie you should not do.
No, it's very
Well,
heavy.
okay. I
Don't put the
will.
cart before the horse.
Yeah,
I want to play devil's advocate. They did a good job with Venom. I think they did a good job with Venom.
no, fair enough. Yeah, you're
Do
not
you
wrong.
Venom,
Venom was. I liked Venom.
It was fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
They didn't hit you over the head with like references to other villains. They just saved it to the end with Carnage. So
Which
Yeah.
is
I mean,
again the way you do it.
I'm
Yeah,
excited
post
for
credit
Venom
scene.
too. I'm excited for Venom too. And Morbius. Don't forget about Morbius.
Yeah.
That's correct.
yeah,
Morbius,
Morbius.
Has there been any footage of that yet, or is it just straight? It's just still
I've seen pictures.
teasers on it? Oh, okay.
No,
No,
there
we know.
was a
Morbius
trailer.
was a trailer.
Really?
There was a
Morbius was
trailer.
a trailer.
Oh yeah, there was. Yeah, of course there
I'm
was.
gonna ask you guys about it. Do you think Michael Keaton in that trailer is Vulture, or is it a different Michael Keaton?
No, I
Yes,
think that's
I agree.
Wait,
I
Keaton's
think-
in Morbius?
Yeah.
And he's in the Morbius
He's
trailer.
the doctor.
Michael
He's the
Keaton.
doctor, I think.
Very end.
He's the
At
Vulture.
the very end, it's like this. There's quick shot of Morbius walking, and there's a mural of Spider-Man behind him on the wall. And then at the very end, sort of like a post-credit scene of the trailer, there's just Michael Keaton just standing there in prison garment.
In that same outfit he had in Homecoming.
Yeah,
The thing too with that is they'll tie that into Blade as well with Marsha Shaw.
Yeah,
I mean,
think that.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, they don't list his character in on IMDb, but it has to be. It has to be.
I
yeah.
think
hope
I
so.
think Sony is playing a long run here. I think they're playing. I think they have a plan. I think they're slowly, quietly building up to something. That's
Yeah.
not yet.
Yeah,
Richard,
hope they've learned from their lessons.
Yeah,
I
me
think they
too.
did. I think they did.
Richard, you said something interesting. You said they're gonna tie it into Blade.
I think they could tie it into Blade because I mean I remember from the Spider-Man animated show there was the episode with Morbius and then Blade actually shows up to try and hunt him. If you remember
Yeah,
that
it was
from
actually
the,
a
from the
series episode.
1995 or whatever it was. So you've got that kind of dichotomy there. And in
Yeah, but-
the new movie, is he like in that show in the I remember in the animated series he was like a plasma vampire. He wasn't a true vampire. I don't know if that was just for being because it's a
Morbius,
kid show.
yeah.
Are they doing that again, or is he actually like a true vampire? I don't know what he is in the comics.
No,
Looks like a true
I
vampire.
think they're going that route. He does not start off as a vampire from what I saw in the trailer.
And I know he like fed through his hands and stuff. He had to grab people and it was like suckers and stuff. But yeah. Is that
think Josh-
with his comic book origins and stuff?
I think
So-
John Schnepp mentioned this a lot.
On Wikipedia, this is what the premise is. Suffering from a rare blood disease, Michael Morbius tries a dangerous cure that afflicts him with a form of vampirism. So it's probably going to do the plasma thing.
Corona.
Kind of a
Come back.
sidetrack. Have you guys ever read any sort of like the Dresden Files, like those books? I don't know if you guys have ever read that.
No.
Where there's different types of vampires, like psychic
Never
vampires and stuff
heard
like
of
that.
that. That's fascinating.
They're really good books. It's urban fantasy if you ever read anything like that. It's about wizards and a wizard in Chicago. He's very Han Solo meets Spider-Man. So he has quips and stuff that are very Spider-Man-ish, but he's a very like Han Solo character, but also like a white knight. It's like a really good dichotomy there. But it's the Dresden Files are a really good book series, but they delve into all this mythology, like classic like realistic mythology, but there's different courts of vampires. So you have like the red court, which is your standard blood-sucking vampires, and then the white court, which essentially feeds off emotions and like sexual stuff. So essentially they're psychic vampires and stuff. So you have these like intervening
And the vegetarian vampires from Twilight Saga.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And
Not a
smoking one.
Yeah, just leave the glitter at home.
No, John Schnepp, the person that this show is kind of named after, he always said that they called him Morbius the Living Vampires because sorry, I got a text. When this character was created in the comics, it was at a very specific time where comic book characters weren't allowed to be vampires. So he had to be a living I don't know. He said it that years ago. I can't remember exactly what he said, but sort of he had to be alive, not undead, in order to qualify as a vampire. So it's kind of a very weird origin. I think I read on Wikipedia something that he always had bleached skin, and actually kind of like the premise you just read, Matthew, that he had a rare blood disease and he tried to cure himself with bad DNA because that always works. So he actually became a vampire, but not really a vampire. He has vampire traits where he has to suck blood, but I mean, and he's, I believe, immortal, but not 100% a vampire. So I don't know.
It says briefly like his original appearance. That's what it was. He was, he became having acquired a pseudo-vampiric addiction while researching a cure for his own rare but fatal blood disease. So
he was always a very sympathetic character. My only experience is really from the animated series.
Yeah, mine too.
He seemed very sympathetic and kind of just tortured. So it was more of an anti-hero for him.
Yeah,
Do you think
how he started? Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you think we're going to see Hannibal King? The MCU version of Hannibal King?
Hannibal King.
He
Refresh
was
my
in the
memory.
third- He was in the third Blade movie, played by Ryan Reynolds. He's a vampire hunter that is also a vampire, I believe.
Essentially
in the
dead.
comics, I believe I read it in a Doctor Strange comic book that sort of how vampires came to be was that all these thousands of ancient scrolls that gave people vampiric powers, and eventually one day someone took all those scrolls and put them into a book, and that was the original Dracula that did that, and that's how he gave vampiric powers to other people. And then there was this comic book storyline where Doctor Strange, Blade, Hannibal King, and Morbius, I think Morbius was in there. They kind of teamed up together to take on Dracula and destroy the book and rid the world of vampires, to kind of save Hannibal King from being a
I'd
vampire.
be down for
Hannibal
that.
King is a fun character, that's for sure.
That's like years down the road, but it's still
And
good thing to
Mac
think
Ryan
about.
Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, they brought Electro from a dead franchise.
Yeah,
Kind of bring Hannibal King from a dead franchise.
which you could, but in that case, would you have to recast him because Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool?
No, you can do the opposite because Deadpool couldn't acknowledge that.
Oh,
Yes, because
Deadpool couldn't make fun of that.
if you really think about it, Deadpool kind of exists outside. He's like that fourth wall that's broken constantly. So he kind of exists separate from
he's a
everything,
comic
but
book
within
character.
everything, right?
fair enough.
So that's what's
You
cool.
know, they did make fun of Green Lantern, so yeah, you're right. They
Yeah.
could easily just
Yeah,
do that, and that
that'd
would
be great.
I saw
And you want
this.
Ryan Reynolds in more things anyway.
I saw this meme once of Batman talking to Deadpool, calling him Green Lantern, and Deadpool just aims a gun at him and says, "Shut up, Daredevil."
Very
awesome.
nice. Very, very nice.
Okay, so
On to the next one.
yeah, BORAT 2 dropped on trailer and a release date. Coming out the end of October. That got October 25th on Amazon.
Okay, so
And
before we get into that, you just 50 just watched for the first time the first Borat. What did you think?
As I told Ben just before you guys joined the conversation, I loved it, and then I immediately had to go and wash my eyes.
Yeah.
That scene with him and Azamed on the bed when they're
Azamed Bagatal.
naked. I mean,
yeah,
that's a hard scene. I had to watch it like this.
Yeah.
It's weird, but otherwise, I loved it. I loved it, and
I'm with you 100%.
He's running after him with a fist through the lobby.
imagine watching that in a movie theater.
Yeah, I watched
I
that.
did.
I saw Jackass 3D in the movie theater where they had the dildo going on the slow motion camera across the screen in 3D, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But no, I'm 100% with you there. I enjoyed it, but that scene almost ruined the movie for me. Like, I think that was just, in my opinion, too far.
I don't think it was too far. I think it made sense in the movie. It's just I couldn't watch it because of the graphicness of it. But I think it makes sense if you understand the characters and what they have been throughout the entire movie. I think it makes sense in the context of the movie. And you know, when they get out of the rooms and they get into the elevator, they just stand there. They don't fight because they know they're being filmed, because they wanted to save the fight because they know it's a fake fight. They wanted to save the fight for the thing downstairs in the lobby where they had a special guest. So they didn't fight on the elevator. They saved the fight when people are actually watching them.
Fair enough. So, okay, so now that we have your little review, what do you guys think of the trailer? I'm on board. As long as they don't do in that direction with the fighting, personally, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he takes his lesson that he learned from if you guys watched Bruno, have you ever seen that one?
No.
It was pretty. It was not very good. It was a little over the top. If he doesn't take it too far, like you're saying, in that direction. But I like to see. I can't wait to see the scene where he goes to the Pence rally there and brings his daughter in there. That's going to be exciting. It's great.
Did you guys? Any of you guys see The Great Dictator, or is it just
No, I've seen
it's just the Charlie Chaplin movie?
Okay, Great
like
Dictator,
it?
yes, I've seen that one, but not.
Yeah, it was funny.
Have you guys seen the Brothers? Grimsby?
No, I was told not to watch that
I saw scenes
It's
from
funny,
it,
but
it's
it's over the top. That's for sure.
What movie?
The Brothers. Grimsby.
What?
It's the one with Mark Strong.
Yeah,
where
with
they're
her-
brothers are agents. He's a soccer hooligan.
Kind
But
of feels like Sacha Baron Cohen plays the same character but from different ethnicities every time.
did you guys ever watch his thing? This Is America, where he goes around interviewing people as different characters. It's
No, I
again over
haven't.
the top.
Oh yeah, I did see some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, there's some really, really weird stuff in there, but it's amazing how people go along with it. And I wonder if they know, like, if they ever know beforehand, because how could you sit there and think anything's legitimate when you're listening to them?
They have to, because generally when you're doing shows like that, this is what I've learned from hearing behind the scenes stuff on the show Impractical Jokers. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that show.
I heard of it.
So it's kind of like a Jackass type show. But anyways, in order you have to sign non-disclosure agreements for your face to appear on the show. That's why sometimes you'll see them with like blurry faces or whatever. It's because they didn't agree to let their thing. So there is some knowledge of what's going on, but they don't tell everything.
But isn't it that typically after you've done the filming, they sign those agreements to then publish it? Because I mean, to begin with, like, you
So
think
they don't know
think-
that they're being filmed until they tell them that they're being filmed.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, I just mean for it to be released to their faces, so they still don't really know what's going on up until the end of it, probably.
Yeah, they don't fully disclose what's going on till the end of it, but they say, like, something's filming. Do you want to be a part of it?
Yeah.
And then afterwards they'll explain what's going on. Yeah.
You think that's what happened? You think that's what happened when he was on the subway and he's sort of kissing people on the subway and he opened the suitcase and the chicken came out? Do you think they actually told everyone that they're being filmed? Because it doesn't look like it looked like a hidden camera on that particular scene.
Maybe. Maybe I get a feeling with this one they kind of had to go guerrilla warfare on it because everyone knows who Borat is at this point. Like how many times you walk down the street and say, "My wife."
Yeah. Well, they said they addressed that in the trailer, like the guy's chasing.
They recognize him all over, and he's running with it hiding his face.
Which reminds me, my favorite part of the trailer was when he's describing how 15 years ago he did this movie that wasn't well received, and they showed him at the top of that pole, and they hit the bell, and ding.
Oh my! Yeah, that's every man's worst nightmare.
Oh, for sure. I don't know what it is, but seeing the image of another gentleman getting hit in the nuts always makes me laugh. I don't know why.
It's like that scene in The Simpsons where they're showing the videos and it's like the football player.
Yeah, Hans Holman. Yeah.
Doing.
So I think to see we're all excited for Borat 2.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can I just add a funny thing? I don't know what language that Azamed guy was speaking, but Sasha was actually speaking Hebrew the entire time when he's speaking a different language. So I understood what he was saying.
Oh, what was he saying?
Depends on which scene.
Well, just give me like it's been so long since I've seen the movie. Just give me a general.
Like, for example, when he goes to that garage sale.
Yeah.
He said he sees this woman selling out her stuff, and he was like, "Azamed, תראה, זה שוק של gypsy. בוא נראה, אולי יש להם משהו טוב." So he basically said, "Oh look, Azamed, it's a gypsy market. Let's go there and see if they've got something good."
That's pretty cool that he actually was speaking actual
Hebrew, but
speaking lines in that too as well.
The funny thing is, he's speaking Hebrew. Mm-hmm. The Azamed person, I'm assuming, is speaking his native language. I don't know what language they speak in Kazakhstan, but they both speak different languages, but they understand each other. And he did the same thing in The Dictator on the helicopter, where he goes like, "I love being an American. America is number one. I'm USA." So then he cuts to talking to Nuclear Nadal. He's talking to him in Hebrew, and Nadal is speaking in Arabic, and they both understand each other. But the American couple who's on the chopper with them, they don't understand what they're talking about.
Well, I just did a little bit of looking up on Sacha Baron Cohen. Understandable that he's speaking Hebrew because his mom is from Israel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yeah, his mom was born in Israel, and his dad is British, so he was raised Jewish and is fluent in Hebrew.
Really? I know he was born in Britain, but I didn't know his mom was Israeli.
Yeah. Did you guys see that movie he was in where he plays the Israeli spy, or the show on Netflix?
No.
No, I heard that was really good, but I find it a lot of the time hard to take him seriously and things, though. That it kind of ruins it. His face alone just makes me laugh.
Yes, but I think he's an underrated character actor.
He's a great actor.
Even though I did not like the movie, he was great in Talladega Nights, and I loved him in Les Miserables.
All right. And in just speaking of another movie, Sweeney Todd. When that is amazing. I love that part.
They just dropped a movie.
Let's go on.
They just dropped a movie on Netflix called The Trial of Chicago 7, where he plays one of the suspected terrorists, which is a complete departure for him. I actually want to see that.
Well, if you think about it, if not, it was since he played that in that spy show. Like he's done dramas in the past.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen the spy show. But, I've
heard it's really good. I just couldn't sit there and watch it.
Yeah,
I think he's got that Adam Sandler quality, and Johnny Depp, because they play such over-the-top crazy characters. It's hard for people to take them seriously and acknowledge all of these serious roles that they're doing.
I never thought of it like that. I really didn't.
That's
a good analogy.
Yeah. For me, it's more his face that kind of just takes me out of it. Just for whatever reason, he just looks so goofy all the time. Just immediately think of Borat.
Yeah, some people some people are just born with goofy faces. Look at me.
He's got a face for radio. No, I'm kidding. I
don't got a face for nothing.
Oh, okay. Moving on. So, on to casting news. What do we have there, Ben?
Miss Marvel is casted. I'm going to put his name. Iman Vellani?
It looks like Iman Vellani.
Iman Vellani, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Canadian.
Oh, well, why not?
I'm the only American here today. Fair enough.
Yeah, you're in the minority.
It's weird. Usually I'm one of the minority.
Yeah. What do we think of this?
great. She does. You know what? Just based on, I don't know anything about her, but so far, like she looks the part.
And
Are they
she's the
going
right
with-
job right now.
Sorry, are they going with like a Disney Junior sort of vibe for the, or like a younger audience vibe for the show? Or have they said anything about that yet? haven't really seen much.
We don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
Really.
nobody knows
Okay.
anything. It
Okay.
is. Yeah, it's all it is. All we know is it's going to be a series.
Okay.
I'm guessing on Disney Plus, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're working towards a team up with Captain Marvel. I imagine getting the backstory set up and everything.
They'd have to.
Yeah.
And if anything, I could see it being a team up not with the Brie Larson character, but the other one that they're introducing in WandaVision.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Monica Rambeau, I believe.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau. Yeah, you
I'm
know
not going
the
to
little
that.
girl from the Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah.
The little girl.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that, Richard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she's actually in the WandaVision. That character is an
Okay.
older,
As an
and in
older,
comics she becomes Captain Marvel.
Okay, interesting.
I think there are 4 or maybe 5 Captain Marvels in the comics.
So
Yeah, I know.
Or maybe Miss Marvels. Maybe Miss Marvel. I think 4 Miss Marvels and maybe 2 Captain Marvels.
Well,
Isn't
3
it-
if you include Monica Rambeau, because you've got Monica Rambeau, you've got the one played by Brie Larson. That's name
Carol
Danvers.
Danvers.
yes, and then you've got Marvel. So there's 3 right there.
The original.
Okay.
So I have a question. If we're getting a new Captain Marvel in WandaVision, could we see Brie Larson show up in WandaVision?
Could be
I don't know.
some sort of transfer of powers or
I
something.
think she's a little too big for that, but then again, Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen are in the
Yeah,
Who
but
knows?
Brie Larson is on another level. But I think Richard hit it on the head. If they introduce a transfer of powers in WandaVision, yes. If she's just Monica Rambeau, then I could see it happening down the
You
line.
think about they may be too
Okay.
big, but the amount of money that Disney can throw at people, you could get anybody and anything, really. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
So, I
enough.
mean, if you wanted to do continuity and stuff, they could probably get it coming there at least.
look at Loki. They're getting all these. They're getting everybody from the movies.
Yeah.
On
To go back to your
I don't
point
know,
there,
I mean-
Ben.
what?
I think
I'm
Matt.
sorry?
I was drinking. Go ahead.
Okay. So to go back to your point there, Ben, the lines between the Marvel shows and the Marvel movies are getting thinner and thinner the more we move on, because I think they said that the WandaVision TV show is going to tie in directly to the next Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
And I personally have a theory that the reason why they postponed Falcon and Winter Soldier, but WandaVision is going ahead as scheduled, is because the Falcon and Winter Soldier is supposed to tie into the Black Widow movie. I think it's just a theory, but it's a very loose theory. I acknowledge that, but it's a theory.
The only way I
Everybody's
can see
on that
that,
one.
the only way I can see that those two tying together is if they do any flashbacks based on when the encounter between Black Widow and Winter Soldier that they hinted at in Winter Soldier. So it's possible.
Actually, I got another idea. Maybe they introduce a villain or element in the Black Widow movie that's going to be a main MacGuffin in the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh,
Maybe Falcon and Winter Soldier are going to fight Taskmaster. Who knows?
That's possible.
Because Marvel does that sometimes in the MCU.
Yeah, that is true. Which
Anyway,
one are you looking more forward to? You looking more forward to WandaVision or Winter Soldier?
Honestly, I'll take anything Marvel can throw at me. I mean, the thing I'm most looking forward to is Doctor Strange, because I'm a huge fan of the character and Benedict Cumberbatch. I was one of the people that actually screamed from the hilltops, cast him as Doctor Strange when the whole deal with Joaquin Phoenix fell apart. So I was championing that idea, and I was so happy that I remember the day when I heard the casting of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I was so happy that day. But by the way, Matt, are you looking up this Iman Vellani?
Yeah, I do have her. She's got a small Wikipedia page because
Yeah, are you looking at the Wikipedia page? Because the Wikipedia page, they don't even know when she was born.
it says born 2001 or 2002.
So the age is either 18 or 19. I don't know. You be the judge of that.
All I know is she's
Weird.
okay.
Yep, she's legal.
Yep. Oh, jeez.
Okay, that's my time.
Least explored universes so far in the Marvel thing is the
I'm the
Magic
John Roca
universe.
of the show.
Yeah, no, yeah, fair enough. 50 Shades of Roca.
Yeah, fair enough.
So here's what I like about what they're doing with these younger characters. They're casting of age.
Mm.
They did it with Tom Holland. I like that they're doing this with her, because that was always the criticism of any back in the old days. Back in the old days, when they would cast teenagers, they'd cast like 30-year-olds. Now they're actually casting teenagers, which is awesome.
Toby Maguire was 30.
Exactly.
I know
Because he's so
not
baby.
I know not a comic book movie, but look at the high school students in the Napoleon Dynamite. They're like at least 25 years old, some of them.
Wow.
Or if you really want to think about it, look at the John Hughes classics. They're all in their 20s. Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, Weird Science.
Right. That's right.
Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller, yeah.
Bueller, yeah.
The quality of younger actors is like far better than it ever was before. You see that with a lot of the ensemble cast and Stranger Things and those sort of things.
Yeah.
Giving people a chance, and they're actually willing to.
And this lady, Iman Vellani, she's a complete unknown because this is her only credit listed.
Yeah.
Really?
How
I
old
wonder if
was
she came from
Neil?
stage or something.
Sorry, who
How
said
how old was Neil Seddy when they cast him for the Jungle Book movie? He played Mowgli in the.
Yeah, this you're talking the latest one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Disney one, not the Netflix one.
Yeah. He was. What year did that come out? That 2016?
2016.
Yeah.
13.
Wow. That's younger than I thought.
Yeah, well, that was when the movie came out. So he was 13 when it came out. So when they were filming it, he was probably like 11, 12. Probably closer to 11.
But, I mean, it makes sense for Mowgli.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be a young kid. But Kamala Khan.
She's supposed to be a teenager. So.
Yeah, but she doesn't have to be as young as Mowgli was on that movie. So I guess they can get away with it with a 18/19-year-olds, however old she is.
For sure, she definitely looks the part, right? And that's the thing. Like, this isn't back in the old days when you were casting older to get around the labor laws.
Yeah, I don't know. She looks a little too young to me. I think she doesn't look 18 or 19. If you ask me.
That's not.
But
I was thinking.
I'll tell you what though. If that's her only credit right now, and they cast her as Miss Marvel, she must have nailed the audition.
Oh, no kidding.
She must have knocked it out of the park if they cast her with no credits at all in a freaking MCU TV show.
Yeah, like that was just on Wikipedia, but also on IMDb. This is her only credit. She's done nothing.
Yeah.
He might have been.
Speaking of which,
he might have been on play or something.
Oh yeah, probably.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did just like a mass like casting call, and she just happened to answer and win. I'm thinking what they did.
That's the thing with Marvel, though. They tend to really find those diamonds in the rough to cast for things.
Yeah.
And just like perfect.
Well, not only Marvel. Look at DC. Look at
Well, DC was the one that started it. Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about you.
I think Christopher Reeve.
I'm talking about the guy who plays Cyborg.
Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher,
Go back. Christopher Reeve was an unknown when he was cast. All he did play, he just graduated from Juilliard.
I think Christopher Reeves was roommates with Robin Williams.
Yeah, they were roommates. They attended Juilliard together.
Robin Williams actually recommended Christopher Reeves for the part.
Yeah, when Christopher Reeve had his accident, Robin Williams snuck into the hospital and dressed up as a doctor and tried to give him his colonoscopy results.
Was that before or after Patch Adams?
Way before, because Christopher Reeve got hurt in 94.
94?
94, yeah, I remember.
Oh,
wow.
That's brutal.
But I miss him so much. I miss both of them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time I actually felt a celebrity death. I mean, I've heard of celebrity deaths before, but that was the first time that really affected me. Either that or an Israeli performer called Duru Topaz. You probably don't know the guy, but yeah, that was the first one that actually really affected me.
I'd say it didn't affect me, but the first one that actually registered with me was Princess Diana.
Okay.
Because I would have been about 10. So, I mean, it didn't affect me, but it was the first time I became aware of how celebrity deaths affect people.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I'm the same.
Sorry, 95 is when Christopher Reeve got hurt. Now,
Okay.
could you imagine if he hadn't have gotten hurt? Could
Oh,
you
I think
imagine?
about this all the time.
Could you
I think
imagine
about-
seeing Christopher Reeve in that Crisis crossover we had last year?
Whoa!
Oh man.
Why are you doing this
I
to me?
think about this all the time. You know, for sure he would have been in it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He would have been.
He was in
Really would have
Smallville.
been fine.
Great Smallville, which Ben
Mm.
talks about that episode all the time. It's one of the greatest moments of that show.
Yeah. Love Smallville.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Man, God, I love Christopher Reeve. He'll always be my Superman. I may like Brandon Routh. Yes, I may like Dean Cain. Christopher Reeve to me is Superman. He just embodies it.
I agree with you.
okay. By the way, while we were talking, I looked up Neil Sethi. I don't think he had a few credits before the Lion King, the Jungle Book. Nothing too much of note. So, and I also looked up Mina Masood, yeah, who played Aladdin.
Yeah.
He has a bunch of credits before Aladdin. So yeah, nothing quite like this Miss Marvel girl. So like I said, my point still stands. She must have knocked her audition out of the park.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Because I think I remember Neil Sethi also remember the cast of the Jungle Book mentioned he actually blew them away with his audition. So
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. I don't know who watches South Park here. Did anybody watch the pandemic special?
Twice.
Yeah. Once.
Richard and I watched it last night.
Yeah.
I'm not a South Park person. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Fair
And,
enough.
Yeah.
What did you guys think? Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Richard, give us your thoughts on the show. I was there, but let's the audience hear.
Like it's quintessentially South Park in the way that they take it and the unexpected turns that they bring you to. I mean, are we getting into spoilers or are we not for this?
We could. I'm assuming you don't care about spoilers there, 50?
Never.
Okay, so spoil it.
But I love the part where he's trying to cover up that it was him that started it, and then there's like, no, not the TV. Oh, and then he's like, it didn't come from a bat, came from a pangolin, and then you see him doing that second flashback, and it's just like, that's quintessentially South Park. It's just so.
Oh
great.
yeah. Or
And when he's walking with the
trying-
cane.
Yeah, that's the part I was going to mention. Like
Yeah.
that's the part that made me laugh the most was when he's walking with the cane holding his crotch.
God. But yeah.
So just to fill you in, 50, according to South Park, the coronavirus started because Randy Marsh fucked an animal in Wuhan.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Like you said, quintessentially Star Trek, South Park.
Yeah.
Well,
I couldn't see Picard doing that.
They always have to throw sex into the mix.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
my
for
favorite
sure.
part is I love Cartman's opening song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We love. Oh my god.
Cartman took to social distancing like a rhino to water, or sorry, like a hippo to water.
Yeah.
He's singing about it. He's in his PJs, hasn't showered in months.
The giant stick
He's
with
got a way
6
to
feet
get out
on
of
it.
his class. He's got a 6-foot stick that he uses to hit people to get them away from him. Oh God, yeah. Eats cheese with milk for breakfast.
It's Cartman.
Yeah,
Cartman does what Cartman wants.
pretty much. And then when he finds out that school's coming back, oh yeah, they had to handcuff him to his desk.
And then one comes. I don't want to say this next part about one comes immediately after that with a T-shirt.
Yeah, when he starts coughing on him, and then Kyle beats the shit out of him, and then we get the unfortunate shooting of Token from COVID related issues.
I like how they lock him in the gym and say unfortunate COVID related shooting.
Yeah,
COVID-related shooting.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was pretty great.
no,
But,
it
I
definitely.
really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
It is
I'm
good.
like you. I'm not the biggest South Park fan. I enjoy watching the occasional episode, but this was it,
Yeah,
it
'cause
delivered on everything.
If you watch
I
it
think
too much, it kind of beats you over the head with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
I-
exactly.
Coming back sequentially to like season after season, you find like something really good. It's just like it just brings you back to those old episodes.
Yeah.
I think I have the same opinion on South Park that you have on the Sacha Baron Cohen show that you mentioned earlier.
Ollie
I
G.
think they go. Oh, no, not the Ali G. The
This
one
is
where he's a
America?
fraud agent.
Oh yeah.
So I think they take it a little too far, a little too many times,
Mhm.
as opposed to something like The Simpsons or Family Guy, who only take it too far, but too far enough.
Yeah.
You
No,
understand what I'm saying?
I find
great way
I
to
find
put it.
Family Guy is kind of a weird thing. I find it has a little bit of a mean edge to it. Like it got meaner over time, just making fun of people. So
Really.
it's not as, I don't know. It's like those cutaway jokes can be very mean for the sake of it, and it doesn't
Yeah.
hit as hard with me anymore. But
Yeah, I haven't watched
maybe
Family
it's
Guy.
yeah. South Park does that too. It's a very hard edge, but it's so ridiculous that you can kind of.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the one that for me, it's my favorite South Park episode, but it's a perfect example of how far they take it. Scott Tenorman Must Die,
Mhm.
where he gets revenge on the guy who sold him pubes by killing his parents and feeding to him in chili.
Oh, I heard about that episode from a friend of
Yeah.
mine.
It's good, it's funny, but yeah, it's a perfect example of why you're not into South Park 50. It took it way far. Like
Yeah,
here's
another-
the line, that's where they ended up.
Another thing we didn't mention is Mr. Garrison as Trump.
Yes.
That was perfect.
Yeah, it comes in at the end, lights
lights
the
the guy on fire.
and don't forget to vote.
And when they phone him for help, and then he's like, "Eat shit off my balls," and
Yeah.
hangs up. Oh my god,
So kind of
Oh.
like that scene from Borat.
pretty much.
Borat and Azamid on the bed.
Yeah.
You don't see it.
That's
but
how I see all of South Park, basically.
Pretty much. I mean, that's you can break it down to that.
I mean, just some of the ads and trailers for that show. Sometimes I think it was an ad that just showed a random clip of two chimpanzees fucking each other in the ass.
Yeah.
And
Don't put it
That's
past
not
me.
right.
I feel like the social
and that was just an
commentary is so
ad.
important with that
it
show.
was an ad. It wasn't the full episode. I mean, like,
Yeah.
why would I want to watch this?
Well, like Richard say about your social commentary, because I think that's
I
what
was
makes
what brings it back to me is the episode about Britney Spears where she like blows her head off and everybody's trying to like get a piece of her. It's like about people's like entitled ownership of celebrities and how they work it into such a ridiculous concept, but that message is like totally comes through. Their ability to do that with making things just totally off the wall is pretty impressive. That's why I really like that show. But again, you can't watch it consistently because it just beats you over the head with it.
and not just that, it's how they're able to stay relevant, because a turnaround on an animated episode usually is about what, 6 months?
Yeah.
This
Did you ever watch
Sure,
the show?
As we talked about last week, 6 days to air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
Yeah,
the
so
same
that's how
thing
they're
too
able to
is
stay so relevant.
they're not afraid to pull punches. They'll use people's real name and not try to like circumvent offending people. Like don't care. So you're able to like tackle these real world events without having any shame about it, which is great.
Right.
Well, talking about pulling punches, we should talk about Cobra Kai getting renewed for
Oh,
season 4.
Yeah. Have you seen Cobra Kai 50?
Sadly, no. I'm
Oh.
trying right now. I see. The thing is, when I do binges, I try to binge one franchise at a time. So I wanna because I haven't seen the first Karate Kid in years. I want to watch all the Karate Kid movies, even the Jackie Chan movie, which I firmly avoided back in the day, even though I heard it was good actually.
It is
But-
good.
It's okay.
Take your word for So I want to watch all of the Karate Kid movies and then watch the Cobra Kai show. That's more or less what I did with the Lion Guard. I watched all of the Lion King movies, and after I finished wiping the tears off my eyes, I watched the Timon and Pumbaa show, start to finish, and then the Lion Guard. So it kind of it's all together to me. Right now, I'm trying to finish this very long and extensive binge of Pokemon.
Oh
I
god.
started about a year and a half ago. I've watched since episode 1, plus all of the movies, and played all of the games at the same time. Right now, I'm currently on Gen 6, and because I can't use an emulator, I kind of ordered from eBay an actual 3DS so that I can play the Gen 6 and Gen 7 games, finish the show. Then I wanted to do something. I wanted to watch all the Disney movies from 1920 or 1937 to 2020. Then Karate Kid.
Wow. We're gonna get to it about next year then.
Crazy. I feel like with
on the
Cobra Kai-
bright side, there's going to be 4 seasons by the time I'll get to it.
That's true.
I feel like
Yeah.
with Cobra Kai though, it ties most into the first movie. There's hints at the rest of the series, but that first movie is core to what Cobra
for
Kai
sure.
is.
When
The
you get
other
into
movies are
season
kind of
two,
just Easter eggs.
when you
and
get to
stuff.
season 2, they do bring in elements of the third one.
Yeah.
You haven't seen 2 yet, I don't think. Have they hinted at anything from part 2 yet?
The Okinawa stuff, was that the second movie or was that the third?
That second movie.
Okay, yeah. So he said I got this at Okinawa, like they did like the
Okay.
Easter egg, yeah, stuff like that. But it's not. I wonder if they're gonna bring in Hilary Swank.
They could.
Yeah.
She is.
I'd rather them bring in Elizabeth Shue first.
Oh yeah.
They-
Well,
which-
they are. They hinted at it.
Spoilers. They're hinting at.
Oh yeah,
And
For
I hinted at her.
Yeah. which is good.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
they got it. Kind of. She's probably
with the way they ended season 2, there's no way she's not coming back.
because she's not on the boys.
Wait a
anymore.
I'll take your word for it.
Let me ask you guys this. Do we have How I Met Your Mother and Barney Stinson to pick from Cobra Kai?
Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, he's probably not the sole reason, but you'd have to think that that logic played a part into Cobra Kai. Because, the first season of pretty much the Cobra Kai is the story through Johnny Lawrence's eyes, and Daniel is a dick in the show.
Mhm.
Right?
And that's again what I was bringing back to what I was saying about like the Lion King sequel. They're able to bring such depth to these two-dimensional characters that you didn't really have any, because he was just the bad guy in the first one. There was no motivation for him.
Story.
Yeah, to a point
Right.
where you actually feel something.
And one of the best episodes of season 2 is when they brought back his friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they go on.
And
the-
I think one of them actually died, I think.
Yeah, that's why the
Um,
cancer storyline was written in. Sorry for spoilers,
Oh.
50, but that's why the cancer
I'll forget it
storyline.
by the time I get to it.
Fair enough. That's why they gave that character cancer, is because he was already dying of it, and they
Oh,
wanted to write
wow.
it into the story. So that's
Right.
why that happened.
Yeah, I kind of thought that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but it was great because, like you just said, it gave dimension to two-dimensional characters, and it made us look at them in a new light. Like, yeah, they still kind of were the same characters we knew, but they're more human.
Yeah, well, like
I
the
gotta
introduction of
know-
Ed Asner as his stepfather, like you
Yeah.
can see what his childhood was
Yeah.
like, which is very similar to his protege, how he was beat down constantly, and then
Yeah,
used that to try and turn his life around, right? But-
yeah,
and you can see the same sort of logic, like the flawed logic going through it, as how Miguel, I guess, turns into that, and then that's going to be another thing. I'm not going to spoil that, but that how he changes over the course of the show, tries to bring it back, but like it's like that same, like they're basically the same character in that
Yeah.
they're trying to redeem themselves constantly, get a certain amount of power and redeem themselves.
I got to do a rewatch. It's been a year. I think before the new season comes out,
yeah. Me too. I think I'm gonna do like what 50 said he's gonna do. I'm gonna do all of them. I might not watch the reboot, which is weird. They kept the name The Karate Kid considering it's kung fu. But, yeah, it's a different.
I didn't like it. I know I'm in the minority. I really didn't like it.
I wouldn't say you're in the minority, actually, Ben. It seems
No.
like a lot of people didn't like it, but it's actually not that bad.
No,
You have to
I
take
know
it as a
it's
different
not that.
I was expecting for it to be terrible. That's why I didn't watch it. But then
Yeah.
later, I've been told by people it was actually pretty good.
It's
Jackie Chan's always good.
his best movie.
Who?
Oh, better than
The kid. That
Jaden?
Yeah, it's his best movie he's done.
better than after.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of body of work to go on with that.
No,
movie.
but
no.
it shows that he has
saying
talent.
it's a, okay.
Well, did you
Saying
guys
it's
see
his
the
best
Get Down?
movie doesn't really say all that much.
Yeah, because if you look at everything he's done, he's not really that talented. But this shows that he has the potential. Unfortunately, it was a long time ago.
I mean, he's the son of two great actors.
Yeah,
So
Wait,
there's something in there.
Did you guys ever see the Get Down on Netflix?
no.
He played a pretty good character.
After the scathing review of the TV Talk crew back in the Collider days, I said okay, I can just take that off the list.
You got to
Fair
treat it what it
enough.
is. It's basically a hip hop rock opera for the most part.
Didn't-
And that sort of thing, kind of like.
Wasn't he that kid in The Pursuit of Happiness?
Oh yeah, for sure. That was him. Yeah,
Okay. I think they were pretty damn good in that.
yeah. It was sometime after the Karate Kid where his consciousness left this astral plane and he went all weird.
Millennial.
Yeah, millennial.
Well, really.
He wandered off into Millennialville.
Yeah,
Pretty
pretty
much.
But hearing you guys talk about Cobra Kai,
Yeah.
just makes me more and more confident of the statement that I made earlier on the show about the Lion Guard.
Yeah.
That it kind of takes even some of the background characters of the Lion King. By the way, spoiler alert. Actually, no. Maybe I'm not gonna spoil it to you because. Okay, maybe I will. Timon and Pumbaa have another son, which is kind of Simba's half brother
Oh, interesting.
on the show.
Half brother, eh? How the
Interesting.
hell?
Because Simba was technically adopted by Timon and Pumbaa and raised
Oh,
by Timon and
okay.
Pumbaa, and Timon and Pumbaa adopted another animal, which is not a lion. So
Oh,
they kind of make a funny joke of it that he walks up to Simba and says, "Hey, brother," and he walks up to Simba's son Kaya and he says, "You're gonna have to start calling me Uncle Bunga from now on." They had a full episode.
Can't
of
wait
that,
to
but-
watch this.
but yeah, also, here's a spoiler that I'm not going to give, but just like they expanded on Johnny's character from Cobra Kai, there's a lot of stuff with Scar in that
Good.
series, which
Yeah.
from what you guys are telling me about Johnny in Cobra Kai, I'm assuming it's I'm assuming the people behind Cobra Kai and the people behind Lion Guard were having shared lunches or something, and they consulted these things.
Well, the thing with Cobra Kai is the guys who did it. Like, I don't know if you've listened to Harloff's interviews with them.
I think that one I didn't hear it.
Okay, so they're massive fans of the thing. They're like Kevin Feige. They're fans of the product. That's why they're putting in the little like Easter eggs and all that shit. It's because they grew up big fans. So I got a feeling whoever did the Lion Guard was the same thing.
Yeah. I think he also showed a clip on SCN Live where they talked about maybe doing the same treatment for Back to the Future.
Oh, nice.
So before hearing that clip, I was kind of against another Back to the Future because I think it's a part of movie perfection that should stay alone. But after hearing them talk about it on SCN Live, which was the clip from One on One, it got me thinking. Maybe they can do something in the Back to the Future universe without actually doing a reboot of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Like an older Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly. Christopher Lloyd is obviously still around, and they can act. It makes sense that he'd still be relatively young because he did that de-aging thing in the second one.
Yeah.
So he'd still technically be, and he was also time traveling on his train, so he could look as young as he wants to. So maybe they could have Marty and Doc and some new kid that kind of and some idea that came to me a couple of nights ago actually was, what if they do another kid, a Russian kid that travels 100 years in the past to sort of Lenin's Soviet Russia, and he meets his parents after they escaped Soviet Russia into America. So instead of just Marty meeting his mom, he meets his great grandparents. That could be an interesting story in today's modern context.
Yeah.
Because in the 80s and 90s, it probably wouldn't have worked, but today maybe it will.
That would be great, but there's one issue. Robert
What?
Zemeckis.
I think if Sylvester Stallone can be persuaded to do Creed and Creed 2, Robert Zemeckis could be persuaded to something like this.
Yeah, it probably would, because his thing was he was against a reboot. If this isn't a reboot,
This is not a reboot.
yeah, he would be
It's a
fine.
continuation of the story.
Yeah. God,
And
no.
maybe it's not a DeLorean this time. Maybe it's
The Tesla.
a Tesla.
Yeah.
Something popular in modern times.
Or they could go
Could be
like the
relevant,
original way and do the refrigerator, which was
Or what-
supposed to be the original time machine.
What is a car? What is a car now that is popular but
Yeah.
is kind of a flop?
Yeah, so you know all about that, Ben. The original time machine was a refrigerator, but in the 80s, their biggest fear was a lot of kids would lock themselves in the fridge.
I know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think any
DeLorean.
kind of interest with the refrigerator was ruined for me with the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I knew you were
I
going
know
to.
you-
Indiana Jones fell out of a plane and landed safely on a mountain in a raft. I'm fine with a fucking refrigerator.
Man,
Yeah,
I
people
know.
shit on that movie constantly.
I defend that too. I don't want to defend another one. That's my point.
Fair enough.
I can only,
My thing
If
with
I'm
Indiana
wrong-
Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is that, like, what is the natural progression of the mythology of Indiana Jones? You've got biblical, you've got magic in India, you've got, again, another sort of magic with, it's still like religious connotations, but aliens are the next logical step. It's just
Yeah.
another form of religion. Like, if you
Yeah,
think
because
about it, it's all one
that's
form
what
of
everyone
religion.
kind of forgets. Like the first 1 and 3, particularly, let's focus on those two. They were designed after movie serials from the era of the movies take place. Now, when you move it 20 years forward, what
50.
was 50s? Yeah, what was the equivalent to that? It was the Ed Wood type film, the schlock,
Russians and aliens.
Russians and aliens.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect transgression, but people tend to forget that.
Yeah.
It fits if you put it in that context.
It is fit. I never had a problem with it.
Yeah.
I just get tired of defending it to people.
My thing is too much CGI in that. That was my issue.
Too much poor CGI. Like, and I feel like they brought characters back just as fan service instead of trying to.
Marion, I think Marion was a great addition. Was a great return.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because she was really the only true love of his life.
Another segue though. Have any of you seen the Shia LaBeouf biopic?
Not yet, Honey Boy.
It is amazing. It is amazing. It's really good. He plays his father in it, and it's just like it's a vision into his childhood and stuff. It's amazing.
Okay.
Honey Boy, right?
Yeah,
Honey Boy, yeah.
It is really good. Yeah, surprising. But anyway, yeah, I didn't like him in that movie. In Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
So should we just immediately jump into our top 5 then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so for those of you familiar with the show, we're skipping the sports and the MTS just because we're almost running out of time here. Because honestly, great conversations. We had great conversations on the movie news for sure. So we're actually just going to hop right into our top 5. So what we normally do is we are assigned a topic from the week prior, and we come back with our list and we describe it, kind of a la the top 10 show from Roca and Nost. So the topic was top 5. What was it again? Top 5 unexpected songs in movies.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's
not from musicals.
That. Yeah, correct. That is not for musicals. Yeah. So yeah. So hopefully we've all got our lists.
I'll be honest with you guys. I've looked it up just now. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's what I was doing at the beginning of the show because I forgot to finalize my list.
Okay.
Okay. So who do we start with this time? You know what? Let's start with Ben and we'll do clockwise. So we'll go Ben, me, Richard, and then 50. How's about that?
Get some time to think.
There you go. Okay. So Ben, what's your number 5?
Mine is actually a tie. I couldn't decide between two. Okay. My number 5 is from an Adam Sandler movie.
Okay.
It's from The Wedding Singer. It's so good that they actually brought back the scene to entangle it in a TV show a couple years ago. And that is Growing Old With You. And they brought it back in the Goblin.
That is true, yeah.
I don't think I have ever seen that happen before.
I don't know. But no, it's a great scene.
It's a great, I get goosebumps every time I see it.
My friend, who unfortunately has since gotten divorced, that was her and her husband's wedding song.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah, just a little bit. So I didn't know that until, and it just popped on. She's like, "Can you turn that off, please?" I'm like, and she told me, I'm like, skip.
And then the other one that I had tied with is from the Jim Carrey movie Yes Man.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
A jumper, and he's not singing. I think it's called Jumper, right?
Yeah, the song is called Jumper. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that is at the end when he does the Ringo style. I got blisters on me fingers.
Yes. And those are my two number 5s. I'm sorry I had time, but put in this on.
Yeah.
So what are you guys' thoughts on those two scenes?
Great.
Didn't see either movie.
Really? You haven't seen The Wedding Singer?
You would be surprised how many movies I haven't seen, and you'd also be surprised how many obscure movies that nobody's even heard of I actually did see a couple of times.
So what you're saying is we should make a list of movies for you to watch.
I can make a list of movies for you guys to watch.
I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Speaking of which, Ben, I did buy Audition, and I have yet to watch it. It's on iTunes. It's like $3. $3.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm watching it tomorrow.
Okay. So my number 5, I didn't like this when I first saw it, but I've grown around on it. It's from the end of The 40-Year-Old Virgin, when he has sex for the first time and he breaks into Aquarius from Hair or Godspell or whatever. Yeah, oh my God, it is such a ridiculous metaphor. Like, I've seen versions of that since, but this is the one that tops the list. With Seth Rogen doing his little dance, and oh God, it's so humorous. It's the best good way to cap off a long movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so unexpected too when they break out into that dance number. It's just like, it's great. It
Right?
builds
Oh
and builds
yeah.
and builds.
Yeah.
Don't forget, they have Ant-Man in that too.
Right? That was
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Paul Rudd.
that
was the
was
height
the
of Paul
first
Rudd
movie
in that.
where I knew, oh, this is Paul Rudd. Like before
Yeah.
that, I hadn't seen Clueless at that point. I hadn't
I
seen
remember
What
Ant-Man.
about Friends?
Oh, you're not a fan of
I hadn't seen Friends at that point. I actually didn't come to
really?
Friends until 2009, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was very late. So that was the one that actually introduced me to who Paul Rudd was.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, have you seen this one, 50?
Sadly, no, but I have been planning to watch. It's been a lot of these movies that you guys are talking about. It's just movies that I've always said to myself, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it, just not now." And then
Yeah.
the days turn into weeks, just like with Borat. The same thing. I was planning to watch it, but I just got busy with a lot of other stuff. But,
Yeah, there's a lot of movies I have on like that too, to be honest. Like I still haven't seen Fight Club. And
Whoa.
I have it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
really.
Yeah.
Me neither.
No. Okay, so I'm not alone.
Uh,
Okay, so that's my number 5, the hilarious Aquarius scene. Richard, what is your number 5?
my number. Have any of you seen The Clockwork Orange?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've been avoiding that movie for years.
My number 5 is the William Tell overture during the orgy scene, where it's all sped up really quickly, and he's having sex with the 2 girls in his apartment, and it's that fast motion where it's the William Tell overture, and they're just going all around the apartment, and it's just such a random song, but it looks
you were
good.
going.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna go singing in the rain.
No, that
Really?
part is the weirdest because you're just saying it, and you're just seeing it in fast motion, and they're just going all over the place.
Yeah, that's definitely a weird fucking movie.
Yeah, that is the weird.
Yeah, that one I don't recommend watching. 50. It's really
No,
out.
I've never seen
I've been avoiding that movie for years.
Yeah,
No reason.
good.
I've heard nothing but bad things.
It
about
is. It is. By today's
movie.
standards,
This movie is fun.
realistically, it's not
I've
as
heard that it's
bad as things that happen in
Yeah.
movies nowadays.
I've heard that it's well-made movie, but it'll scar you for life. And
Oh,
I want
for
a
sure.
scar I already have a scar for life, so I don't want a mental one.
Yeah,
That
you don't need
is-
a bit of the ultra violence.
No, for sure. It is really gory. A lot of the sex is disturbing. There is
It's
a
very
rape scene.
rapey. It's mostly rape.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
It's a movie that I shouldn't have watched when I did.
I watched it in high school.
Yeah, same.
It's a movie. I don't know for the filmmaking aspect of it because it's shot very well, like in the different scenes and stuff. But and that was my number 5. William Tell
Okay.
overture from Clockwork
All
Orange.
right, Biddy, what's yours?
Okay, so based on what you're saying is, by the definition of unexpected songs, it's songs that weren't planned to be a part of the movie, like the Nickelback song in the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, more or less. We're looking at it as songs that. Why is this in here? Most of them work. One of them of mine I fucking hate. We'll get to that when we get there. But it's just songs that just come out of the blue in the movie.
Okay, so, well, maybe not out of the blue. I mean, it is kind of unexpected, but I kind of enjoy it whenever I watch the movie, and that's What a Wonderful World from Madagascar.
Okay.
Why?
Because Alex is just going through all this shit after shit after shit. He gets hit in the head with a coconut, and he falls on rocks and cactuses, or is it cacti? And all this bad stuff, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, you got all the other guys, and they just see basically the circle of life. This thing eats that thing, and then that thing eats the other thing, and they're just introduced to so many horrors of nature.
Yeah.
And in the background, there's this wonderful, peaceful song about how beautiful the world is.
I forgot about the moment because I haven't watched the movie in a long time. It is a great, great scene. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it's actually sort of a continuation of another song from DreamWorks they played during the funeral scene in a Shark Tale. They had a similar touch, but kind of this really sad song because there's a funeral, but then you realize it's one of the sharks that actually sings the song.
Oh,
And,
I've only seen that one once.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that movie, by the way. But by the way, did you know that there's a Hebrew version of It's a Wonderful World? What a Wonderful World?
No.
It's actually performed a lot by one of my favorite Israeli artists, Gidi Gov. And fun fact, I actually did get to meet him once.
Nice.
It was at the Avengers Infinity War premiere. They had this premiere that predated the actual premiere. It was just for this group of fans from this Facebook group that I was a part of at the time, and it was a special screening for cosplayers. So about like 20 people showed up dressed as like Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and Black Panther, and all of a sudden, I mean, we took some pictures in the movie theater. Then all of a sudden, Gidi Gov just walks up. Maybe we saw another movie somewhere else, and it's my favorite Israeli singer. And I'm dressed as Doctor Strange, and I'm holding a Doctor Strange Hot Toys figure. And I had this. I don't have it right now, but I have this Infinity Gauntlet oven mitten. On the other hand,
I remember that mitten.
And I just walked up to the guy. I'm your biggest fan. It was like, okay, sure. But I got to shake his hand. It was wonderful. But yeah, he actually has a version of What a Wonderful World.
Nice.
You're gonna have to send
me a link to that because I do like hearing, except if they're French. That's a personal bias for mine. I like hearing.
You're Canadian.
I am French Canadian, but I hate it when French Canadian is really bad for copying and pasting other people's works. Let's just say that.
Okay.
But I, for the most part, I actually don't mind other versions of songs, so to speak.
Okay.
There's something about French Canadian entertainment that just drives me bonkers.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. All right. So,
by the way, one final thing. If you're interested, there's also a Hebrew version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Ooh.
Can't remember who does that, but there's a Hebrew version of the Eisha Me'ever Lakeshet.
Another thing to look at is on Spotify, just different versions of Disney songs that they make for different countries. Like I know with my daughter loves Frozen too, and there's about 20 different versions of that soundtrack in languages all over the world.
Because they change it for every country.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to listen to all these different.
I don't really listen to a lot of
languages.
Disney movies in Hebrew because they just butcher the songs and the movie themselves. Yeah, I hate, for the most part, like 98% of them suck. By the way, speaking of Frozen, do you know what the Israeli title for Frozen is?
No.
Breaking the Ice.
Nice.
Also, Let It Go.
Always the comedians.
Yeah, I don't know how they thought this was a good idea, but the word they use for the Hebrew performance of the song "Let It Go" is basically letting go a fart. Letting go. You're letting go. I don't know who thought this was a good idea, and there's actually an Israeli comedian that made a whole show about this stuff. He has a piano, and he actually plays on the piano the English version, the proper version, and then he plays the Hebrew version just to make fun of it. And he's like, "Let it go." So yeah, it works better in Hebrew.
I take your word for it. The best version, foreign language version of a Disney song, Jackie Chan, "I'll Make a Man Out of You" from the first Mulan.
In what language?
In
Cantonese?
Cantonese.
Cantonese, I think. I
Yeah.
think I heard that one. I haven't heard it
He
either,
is
but it's pretty good.
Good singer.
Yeah, he is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is from a football movie. A little football movie with Keanu Reeves.
The Replacements.
The Replacements. It's when they're all in jail. They start singing their song about surviving. I will survive.
I've actually never seen The Replacements.
No,
Really?
Yeah, that's going on my list.
I'll send you the link. It's a funny scene. And I have the only one who seen this one. But
no,
yeah,
unfortunately not.
it's good. It's funny. There's really not
Okay.
that much you can say about it.
I'm assuming another movie you haven't seen, 50?
Yep, you assume correctly. I don't think I even heard of The Replacements. That sounds new to me.
Well, basically, the premise of the movie is the football players go on strike, so they bring in replacement players, scabs, to cross the picket line and do the season.
I guess now I know why I've never heard of it, because it's a sports film. And me and sport don't really speak the same language.
Oh, man. It's too bad. There's a lot of great sports movies. You've seen Rocky, though, I hope.
No.
Ooh.
But because Christian always talks about it. Okay, let me try to resuscitate you. Because Christian always talks about it, I want to watch it just to know what Christian is talking about, just so I can be as part of the conversation whenever they talk about Rocky 5. Whenever
It's my
Rocky
favorite movie of all time.
I'm sorry I'm the way that I am, but like
It's
I said,
okay.
me and sports movies, not very good friends. Have you ever seen the Weakest Link episode special where the cast of Doctor Who was on the Weakest Link, the British version?
I've seen clips.
Okay, I've seen the whole thing a couple of times, and they had Nicholas Briggs on there, who does the voice of the Daleks and Cybermen and most of the monsters. So they asked him a question about golf or something. So he just thinks for a second, and then he just takes the microphone. He brought the special microphone that makes the Dalek voices. So he just takes the microphone and he goes, "Daleks do not play sports."
That's awesome.
That's me with when it comes to sports and sports movies. The best I know about sports comes from Pokemon and the Schmodown. That's basically my full exposure to sports.
Okay. You know, I kind of feel like this is a good movie education. Actually, I enjoy this when people say they haven't seen movies. It's like, cool, here's why you should watch it. That's just me. So my number 4 is from any of you guys ever seen My Best Friend's Wedding?
Yep. I know where they're headed.
Yeah, it's when Rupert Everett stands up at the wedding dinner and he goes, "The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup." It's a Say a Little Prayer for you from My Best Friend's Wedding. It is a great icebreaker of a scene. It's a movie I haven't seen in a long time, but that's always stuck with me. Every time I hear that song, I always think of Rupert Everett and Julia Roberts. It's definitely, in terms of rom-coms, it's right up there as one of the best scenes. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
No, never seen it.
Oh, really?
Finally, I'm not alone.
I know that scene quite
Yeah.
well. It's funny.
Yeah,
It is completely out of the blue.
it is, and it's a heartwarming scene. Like it starts off with Rupert Everett trying to cheer Julia Roberts, and as he starts singing, he starts bringing in the rest of the families, and all of a sudden, the whole restaurant breaks out into song and joins him with it. So great, so great.
Okay, I forget which one it was. There was one of those awful parody movies. It was a date movie.
So one of the most awful parody movies.
Yeah, it's awful. They actually parodied that scene
Oof.
with a parody song. It's awful.
Yeah, I think I saw the movie, but I purposely blocked it out.
Yeah.
Good for you.
All right, Richard, what is your number 4?
So my number 4 is, have any of you seen Insidious? It's a horror movie from
I haven't yet.
mid 2000s,
Me
or
and
even
horror don't
later.
really go well together.
Okay. Well, it's
Okay,
kind of like a paranormal ghost movie where a kid gets possessed and he's kind of stuck in the spirit realm. At the end, they get to a part where they go to the demons kind of, there's like a demon that's kind of like hunting him. They go to his kind of realm, and then all you hear is Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim. Have you guys ever heard that song?
Oh, I can do the song.
That song, it works, but at the same time, all I can picture is the YouTube video of this weird Tiny Tim guy singing it, and it just like kind of takes you out of the movie, but it's just so weirdly creepy. But so that's my
On
number
my
4.
laptop that you're using video, Richard, I'm pretty sure there is me singing a video of me singing it. I recorded
Play it now. Play it now.
Oh, well, I'd have to look for it, but you know what? If I can, I'll send it in the group to play.
That's
to
great.
do it.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Yeah, we
But
the
yeah,
whole
that's my
thing
number
is kind of like a band. What do you call it? One of those things where you kind of get to know each other, sort of thing. Fuck, I can't remember what the word you used for.
Mixer?
What? Sorry.
A mixer?
No, it was more like a band.
Retreat.
Yeah, what was it? It was a band retreat of sorts, but it's like those activities you do to kind of like
Team building exercise.
To get like used to gel with people and all that stuff. Anyways, so we were split into 4 groups and we were all given kids instruments, and my group had the ukulele, so I'm like, oh, I know, let's do Tiptoe Through the Tulips with me. I was the only one that could sing it. I was the only one who was able to get my voice high enough. So yeah, it's interesting. So like I said, if it's still on my laptop, I'll definitely send it.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, and 50. What did you remember for?
I apologize again, Matt, but this song is from a movie that I don't particularly like all that much.
Okay.
Just the scene fits the description of an unexpected song that you didn't see coming. And I'm gonna set it up for you for a second. There's this big fancy schmancy dinner scene with a bunch of people just casually eating dinner in the house that they just bought. Suddenly,
I just watched this a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That scene is just crazy. Like, what is happening? And then later you realize it's the ghost forcing them to sing it. But like, out of all the stuff you could have done, you went with that one. That song in the middle of a dinner scene.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, kudos to Tim Burton for coming up with that idea in the first place. But yeah, like you said, unexpected. You didn't see that coming. And that's actually the very few scenes in that movie that I like. I didn't like the movie overall too much, but I really enjoyed that particular scene. And
at one point I was with you. I didn't like that movie, but it's kind of grown on me a little bit over time.
Because I think it was either you or Jordan. You mentioned it in your top 5 favorite movies in the first episode, I think.
That wasn't me. It wasn't in my top 5. I think it was Jordan.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember because I edited that episode. But yeah, so I actually have this very weird connection with that song because when I was in high school, they took us to this play, this kind of indie play. It wasn't. I think it was based on any existing material. It was just an original play that a bunch of actors just decided to put up, and they took us to it. I don't know why, but I still enjoyed it. And the play was called Aluminum. One of the weirdest experiences I've ever had, but I enjoyed myself. So basically, for the majority of it, the first scene in that play, it was just a bunch of actors in aluminum tubes, the kind of stuff that goes and the ceilings and stuff. So yeah, they were in aluminum tubes walking around together. There was no dialogue. It was just random background music. They were having what looked like tube sex. Then they switched to a different scene. It was just a collection of scenes, basically. That's all it really was. But it was a collection of scenes. And the second scene was a really small, tiny mini tube. It was kind of randomly walking from one side of the stage to another. Once it got to the other one, it looked at the audience. Didn't really know what he was doing. Walked off stage. Then there was this giant curtain. And then you see the the tube walking on top of the curtain. It doesn't know what it wants to do. It doesn't know where it's going. So it looks to the left. It looks to the right. It looks at the audience. Hey-oh! Hey-oh! And the rest of the audience kind of continues on with the song. Here I come. No. And then a bunch of other tubes started singing a different song, and not more tubes singing a different song. And every once in a while, they had this kind of fat tube coming up and saying "this smell," and then they had a couple of other tubes doing the Galileo from Bohemian Rhapsody, Galileo, but they weren't kind of in sync with each other. And every once in a while, they had the little tube with the "ayo, ayo," and it was just the most random thing ever. You see tubes singing random parts from different songs, and you have no idea what's going on. But I liked it. I loved it. It was, like I said, probably the weirdest stage experience I've ever had, and I wish I could really relive that moment, because that moment where you just don't know what the tube wants to do.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking tube. It's an aluminum tube, sentient tube that moves with wires, and you can actually see the wires. But then it just breaks out into song. And it's that same song that was also used in that scene from Beetlejuice. That's why every time I hear that song, also that song was heavily featured with the band, by the way, in an Israeli movie. And so every time I hear that song played in a movie, in a TV show, or just randomly on the radio, it's just, my mind automatically goes back to that scene. Like, where did that came from?
No kidding. Now that is definitely the definition of random.
Yep.
And there is some clips on it from YouTube, so I will be checking that out later.
Don't say.
I just just Googled the stage play.
I'm gonna look it up right now just to make sure it's the same one. But you guys can move on.
No worries.
Go ahead. Ben.
What is your number 3?
My number 3 is from another Jim Carrey movie, where he's trying to avoid the cops in the scene.
I know the song.
And Cuban Pete in the map.
They call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. Everywhere I go, they go chick chicka boom, chick chicka boom, chick chicka boom. Yeah.
Man, it coming out of nowhere. I don't even know if it's really him singing, is it?
Oh, it's him singing.
Yeah. He can sing his ass off.
Yeah.
And then all of them start dancing. It's a great thing. I love it. Yes, well done. What are your thoughts?
When I first heard Desi Arnaz, because it's a Desi Arnaz song, when I first heard him sing it in I Love Lucy, I was like, hey, the Jim Carrey song.
I think I'm in the same way.
Yeah. No, that's a great song. He gets like everybody dancing with him. Oh yeah.
And then it turns into not Macarena, it turns into what's it? Condo line. It turns into a condo line.
Yeah, that scene is one of the, like, if you want to introduce people to the mask, it's like this is kind of what they're going for.
Okay.
Wait a second, Ben. I apologize. What was the song and movie? I was looking up the aluminum thing.
Cuban Pete in the mask.
The Mask? Oh, yeah, that's right. How could I forget about that one?
Yeah.
I love that. And also, another random song you don't see coming. The movie's terrible, but Son of the Mask, where he sings, I love you, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that song, I think of 10 Things I Hate About You, which is another random
Really?
scene. Yeah.
Really? That's another good one, by the way.
Yeah.
And
So
that's a movie I actually saw.
sorry, what was that?
It's a movie I actually saw. 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes, we finally found one. So my number 3 actually could have been 2 songs, a different song from the same movie, but the only reason they disqualified it is because it actually appeared earlier in the movie. So my number 3 is I Will Always Love You, the Whitney Houston version from This Is the End.
Mm.
When they're heading into heaven. Originally, I was going to go with the Backstreet Boys scene, but because it appeared earlier in the movie, I think that when the second time, it's not unexpected. Like Backstreet Boys being retrospective, but because it's already put in the movie, it's already been established.
When did it appear?
When they first get together in Los Angeles and they're in Ben, and when they're in Seth Rogen's,
Okay.
but it's
Cool.
when they're in heaven, they're finally admitting, how much they love each other and how they missed each other in this. It's so ridiculous. That movie is so messed up, but it's got some great moments. With that one, it just makes me chuckle every time. It's like over the top and professing their bromance.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For some reason, when you said "I will always love you," my brain just went to a different movie. But when you said "this is the end," I kind of forgot which movie I was going for. What was it in a Deadpool movie? "I will always love you."
Was it?
I don't know. I know it was. It just randomly showed up in a movie, and it just made me laugh my ass off. But
Wouldn't put it past it in the first movie. But I'm not.
Didn't he do Celine Dion stuff in the Dead?
That was the
movie, or was that the trailer? That was the trailer, or was that the whole movie?
Trailer.
It wasn't Celine Dion in the credits of the second Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is my number 3. So Richard, yours.
So my number 3, sticking with the Spider-Man theme, is from Spider-Man 2 when he decides to not be Spider-Man anymore, and it cuts that montage with raindrops will keep falling on my head, and it's showing him be Peter Parker, and then he's walking with his glasses all confident, and he falls on his face, and he puts them on, and it's just a montage of him just being a hapless Peter Parker. That it works, but it's also just like a random segue, and I always remember that point because that was one of my favorite movies growing up because it was that was like the Spider-Man movie to watch.
That's a great movie.
But yeah, no, that's my number 3. Yeah, it's a great movie. The only thing I don't like about it is at the time there was the Sunny D commercial. I don't know if you have that in Israel as well, but where it's like the power of the sun in the palm of your hand, and then they used that for Doc Ock, and I could never get that out of my head that he used the Sunny D tagline.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Really?
Every single time. Yeah.
Huh.
But anyway, that's my number 3.
Commercial, but I don't remember.
So here's the movie you were thinking of, 50. You're thinking of The Hitman's Bodyguard.
No.
Because I just Googled it, Ryan Reynolds in that song, and it's in that movie.
Okay. Come to think of it, I think it might have been an animated movie. No, I don't know. It's 2 in the morning.
It's in a lot of movies, I will say that.
Yeah, but I specifically remembered I think it was an animated character just started belting it out, and me and the rest of the theater were just cracking laughing. But I don't know. I just need to think it over. But by the way, that song you mentioned, Richard, I had considered it for this list because I kind of had to make this list up while you guys were talking because I came in completely unprepared. So now we're on my number 3.
Yes, correct.
Okay, this one, the only reason my brain was able to pull it up at this late hour was because I had a conversation with a guy in a Facebook group recently, and it kind of fits the definition, the textbook definition of completely unexpected, and it's the movie. It's the song "All Star" by Smash Mouth in the Digimon movie, the English version.
Never saw the Digimon movie.
That was amazing.
It was in the second part of the movie where it kind of talks about the second generation of Digidestin, and it was right at the end. They had this in the Japanese version. They had this really emotional scene where because a little bit of a spoiler for that movie, this kid has 2 Digimons, and one of them kind of is infected by some evil virus because Digimon. So he becomes evil, and the majority of the plot of the movie is they're trying to make him good again. And right at the end, there's a scene where he tries very hard to shake off the sort of evil side of him and go back to being good again. And in the Japanese version, which I haven't actually seen, it's a really emotional conversation between the Digimon itself and the human kid. But for some reason, in the English version, they just completely skip the emotional conversation, and he's just dancing the Smash Mouth to All Star.
That is incredibly random.
Because for some reason, while he's trying to fight the evilness inside his body, he's moving like this, And for some reason, I guess the people who were behind that movie thought he was dancing to All Star, so they just added the song. I don't know what they were thinking, but it made me laugh. So yeah, that's. And by the way, that's before the Shrek movie, I believe, the first Shrek.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
So before we go on to your number 2, Ben, I want to point this out. Speaking of random, 50, you look like a Hebrew Daniel Radcliffe. Has anybody ever told you that?
Welcome to my high school years.
Okay. Okay.
So I wish I still had it. My ID card. I mean, everyone who looked at me for years, even after I graduated and I joined the army and I had the shaved head.
Yeah.
Everyone who just asked to see my my ID card said, "Wow, you look like Harry Potter." So yeah, of
So
course I ran with it. I love the Harry Potter movie, so I kind of ran with it. I didn't have a problem with it, but it kind of gets annoying after the 500th time.
I totally get it. You had to have done the costume at one point.
Yep, but that was before I was actually wearing glasses. I got glasses in 10th grade.
Oh,
So
okay.
and I dressed up for Purim in grade school, I think, and that was just right around the time when the movies came out. I might actually still have the scarf that my grandmother made for me for that.
That's awesome. It just dawned on me while you were talking. I'm like, I just had to point that out.
I also another thing I noticed: all of us, since Jordan isn't here, all of us are wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Now, see, the thing is, after I graduated, and more importantly, after I finished my military service, and I could grow my hair back, I was really losing my hair. So for a few years, I wasn't looking like Daniel Radcliffe, and then I did a hair transplant surgery. By the way, 2 years ago, this was a full Costanza. What you see?
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. I can send you videos of myself from my channel where I had full Costanza. You wouldn't recognize me. There's this fan video that me and my friends did where I'm Superman. That is a bold Superman.
Okay.
Now, I mean, now look at me. I
Like
did a
One
head
Punch Man.
transplant almost 2 years ago, and now you can't even tell the difference. I can't even tell the difference.
I've got questions
amazing.
for you. I want to ask you later because I know how late it is. Because a friend of mine is actually getting a hair transplant, so I got a few questions I want to ask you about that later. So Ben, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is from another Adam Sandler movie.
You like Adam Sandler?
I do like Adam Sandler. Really Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And you will be able to tell. The song, when he came out, you can keep up. Veronica rushes to his house,
Yeah.
picks him up, and he gets inspired, and he sings his goddamn victory song.
Yeah.
That's my number 2.
For those who are Schmodown fans, if you've ever seen Perry Nemiroff use the song as an entrance once, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use that clip for a lot of the Schmodown videos that I edit.
Yeah. So you're very familiar with the song, and
Because it has Dr. Cougar dressed as a clown.
Yeah.
It's a great.
It's ironic seeing how you reacted to it. I'm sure I know you've seen the movie, right?
Oh, sorry, which movie?
Madison.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's classic. I mean,
Yeah.
every time I watch that scene on YouTube, I find myself lip singing the whole song from beginning to end. I just
Nice.
love that song.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the highlights of that movie, isn't it?
That's for sure.
Okay, so my number 2 is from a movie that actually filmed in Vancouver, and I was able to pick out a lot of the spots when I lived down there. It's from the movie Hot Rod.
Okay.
Okay, which was a question this week in the Schmodown. It is the scene where he goes into the woods and he does his angry dance to Never by Moving Pictures from Footloose.
Right.
And he tries to recreate the dance, and then he trips and rolls down the hill. I love that scene so much because that is so unexpected. The fact that he goes to dance with the song, but to top it off, he trips and falls completely down the hill. Yeah. That's a movie I haven't watched in a long time either, but it's a movie I think about fondly because it introduced me to Danny McBride.
Mhm.
It introduced me to Lonely Island. It introduced me to Isla Fisher.
Mhm.
You know,
Ian McShane is great in that.
Ian's the dad, yeah.
You saw that before Wedding Crashers?
No, actually, I saw it after Wedding Crashers, but Isla Fisher didn't register for me in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
I feel like Andy Samberg is super underrated.
Oh,
Just doesn't get
for
enough
sure.
movies. Like, have you guys seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yes, I have.
The first season's a little rough, but as it gets closer, like as you get farther in, the jokes start landing, and it's a great series.
Is Brooklyn Nine-Nine a reboot of a
No,
Brooklyn Nine-Nine show?
I think they made a Montreal version, like a Canadian, like Quebec version of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and that's I think that was recently getting a bunch of controversy because they were talking about how they whitewashed it. But they actually made a Montreal Police Department version of it.
I did not.
But
know
it might usually they take stuff from Britain and switch it over, but I don't know if I've ever seen anything previous to that.
Well, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Richard, you're number 2.
My number 2 is from the movie Face Off, starring the great Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. And it's the scene where Nicolas Cage, he's John Travolta, but he goes to the apartment building where Castor Troy's girlfriend and kid are, and then his friends and stuff. And then the shootout ensues. So then the cops come and start shooting up the place, and the kid's there, and he puts the headphones on him, and then it goes to Over the Rainbow.
Yeah.
And it's just like this. It's just all this violence happening, and this kid's just you're just listening to Over the Rainbow as everybody's dying and stuff, and it's just like this kid in the middle of it all. But yeah, so that's my number 2.
It almost reminds me. It's not as dramatic, but there's a scene in The Hangover 3 where Zach Galifianakis' character puts on the headphones and starts singing "My Life" by Billy Joel, but in the background, his dad's having a heart attack and doesn't die or something like that.
Yeah.
When he described that, kind of reminded me of that for some reason.
But yeah, the great movie Face Off. John Woo
classic of the
My
90s.
favorite action movie. My favorite action movie.
Yeah. All right, 50. What is your number 2?
Oh, see, here's the thing. Because I wasn't really prepared for it, can I just go for TV shows? Because
Yeah.
Okay, because I have a list of my top 3, but because of late hour, I can't really remember the third one. That's why I went with the Digimon one. But I definitely remember my number 2 and my number 1.
Good.
And we're actually from shows that I've watched fairly recently. So let's go for the number 2. You're gonna love this, Ben. It's from Lucifer when he sings Eternal Flame.
The Bengals song?
Wait, no, is it Eternal Flame or Eternal? Hold on. Oh wow, my brain is just not functioning at this hour. Hold on. Hold on. Let me just.
Hold on. I have Eternal Flame. Let's bring that up, see if it's the same song.
No,
Is this burning an eternal flame?
It's Eternal Flame.
Yep, Eternal Flame. I was right. So
By the Bengals.
yeah, he sings it to what Chloe thinks he's singing it to her, but he's actually he's just wants the spotlight on himself so that he can move over to the person of interest that they're looking for in that particular episode, in that case that they were working on. I just thought it was the most random thing, but as soon as the first few lyrics, as soon as he sang the first 2 lyrics, I immediately knew which song he was talking about, and I just had no idea where he came up with that, but I was enjoying the song. So yeah, that's to me very random, unexpected, that you actually really enjoy.
Nice. And Lucifer, another show filmed in Vancouver, but I've actually never seen it.
Me neither.
Me either.
But I have heard good things about it.
What?
So, Lucifer?
Never.
Wow.
And how about this?
Yeah, same. I've saved it on Netflix. It's just there's a lot I need to catch up on.
The funny thing is, my mom started watching it on Netflix because she and her husband, they're always looking for stuff to watch. And one day she just came out to me, "You gotta watch Lucifer, you gotta watch it." And she talked to me about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then eventually I just said, okay, fine, I'll watch it. And I'll be honest, first season was rough for me. Maybe you guys will enjoy it, but I just thought it was kind of rough. But I didn't really like the premise of the show, but I enjoyed the characters. So I just kept watching because I enjoyed the character of Lucifer and Maze and Chloe and Linda. So that's what kept me going. And by the time they got to second and third season, I loved it. But see, the thing is, you know what Lucifer is? The premise?
Yeah.
Basically, is the devil, but he takes off vacation and he's working as a police consultant. So whenever they get into so they solve a lot of murder mysteries and stuff like that on the show. Whenever they have to solve a mystery, that I think that's when the show is at its weakest. But in the background, they have all these demonic creatures trying to take over the earth, and he's having constant arguments with his brother, who is the leader of all the angels. And every once in a while, another one of the angels shows up to try to drag Lucifer back to hell because he left hell unguarded. So every time they deal with the godlike mythical stuff of the devil versus the angels and gods, that's I think when the show is at its strongest. When they try to do the whole they solved it, as the TV talk crew used to say. When they go into the procedural crime drama, I think that's when the show is at its weakest.
Okay.
That's just me. So, and by the way, speaking of Smallville, Tom Welling is on the show.
Yes,
I know. Yeah.
Do you know who he's playing?
Does he play his brother?
Gabriel.
No, I'm not going to spoil it because
I know who he is. I won't spoil it. I know.
I had it spoiled for me, so it kind of ruined the fun. The thing is, what spoilers are, I'm okay with the general spoilers. I mean, I knew Darth Vader was Luke's father before I saw the movie.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, though, how did I know that? Because of Toy Story 2.
Nice.
I kind of did get to have the I am your father moment just from the wrong movie. But by the time I got to watch the Star Wars movies, I already knew it. But I mean, so stuff like that, I'm not okay with. Like, if you reveal to me that this guy is the other guy's brother, so like pretty much that's why I don't like to talk about Once Upon a Time with people who haven't seen it, because that show is all spoilers.
Yeah.
The ties between everybody.
About the show without spoilers. So I don't like major spoilers, but smaller ones I'm okay with, because A, either it's not too significant, and B, most of the time I just forget about it by the time I get to watch the property itself. So I'm not gonna say who Tom Welling plays in that show, but I think his season is so far the best season.
Fair enough. He's also a producer on it, isn't he?
Of Lucifer?
He's producing shows. I thought he was a producer on Lucifer, or maybe that's just the show that brought him back to acting.
Maybe. He was a producer on Smallville at some point.
Yeah. But I know after he left Smallville, he started doing more producing than he did acting. Maybe I'm just thinking of things. Okay, so now we're into the home stretch. Ben, you're number one.
My number one is from another spoof movie and another teen movie. And Tonight.
Aerosmith?
What? No.
Is it Aerosmith?
No, Prom Tonight. And with the whole cast.
Oh, the same. Yeah.
You have Chris Evans. There's more down Sam Levine.
Yeah.
Really funny. It's their take on every, I guess, 80s movie. So that, for me anyway, that's a really great parody movie. And this song holds up. And by that end, they had a DC Marvel crossover before anything else. Because you had Captain America. And if you watch Supergirl, her sister is the main actress in that movie.
Oh,
that's
right. Yeah. I think we were on the Showdown once. Melissa Benoist was in that show.
That was, in my opinion, the last great parody movie.
Me too. I love that movie.
So the Lego Batman movie is a joke to you, I suppose. Just talk about it.
It's not a joke.
You know what is also a great one that's underrated is Vampires Suck, where they make fun of Twilight. It's actually a good parody movie. Yeah, it's actually surprisingly good.
Huh.
Yeah. Because they like get every scene exactly right, but just do the right jokes and it's make it work.
One of the things that always sticks out nowadays to me after watching Endgame is that another teen movie was the very first time we saw America's ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
You've recently seen the other side of it.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Woo. Anywho, so my number one is the only one on the list that I fucking hate.
Really?
This is randomness that didn't work. 99 Luftballons in Watchmen. Okay, so the scene is when Silk Spectre and Night Owl, they meet at a restaurant, and this kind of starts their romance of sorts. They're trying to play it off, I guess, as like a sexy thing, but for some reason, Zack Snyder decided to use 99 Luftballons, which I'm assuming everyone here is familiar with the song.
Yeah.
Not a sexy song.
If you play the song, maybe I'll know the song, but
yeah, hold on, I'll bring it up. But you know what? Yeah, it's
not careful. We don't want to get copyrighted.
No, you don't have to play it. Just sing a few bars from it.
Oh, okay. Hold on, I gotta bring up the lyrics because there's Russian and there's German, or German and English. Sorry.
99 Luftballons.
Yeah.
Englishline, ich würde es fahren.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't really know the German. That's 99 red balloons.
Yeah.
It's my Nina, I think.
9 red Luftballons. Dun, 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 dun. Sound familiar? Okay.
No,
Okay, that doesn't familiar, but I get what you're saying. It's not a sexy song.
No, definitely not. It's like they're making like these sexy eyes at each other, and there's like constant zoom ins, and then this song is playing in the background. Like,
yeah,
why? Like, I get the movie takes place in the 80s, but no.
Another one you could have pulled from there is the Hallelujah from the sex scene.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Zack Snyder really picked weird choices.
Zack Snyder loves that song for some reason.
He does, but it's just he picks so many weird choices for his movies. I don't understand it. Let somebody else pick it.
Very personal choices, I think, more than anything.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my rant to number one. So what's your number one, Richard?
My number one is it's probably it's a classic from the Transformers animated movie. You've Got the Touch. During many of the fight scenes, it's just a random addition that doesn't seem to work with anything. Like they just chucked it in there to be relevant in the in the 80s.
Good song.
Yeah, good song. Oh yeah, not a bad song. It just doesn't make
in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Trying to be relevant in the 80s.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no, so that's my number one. It's just such a random addition to robots fighting in space with lasers.
So that song actually is random in another place too. Have any of you guys ever played Saints Row 4?
No.
Okay, so the whole premise of the game is the whole world gets destroyed. The main characters are on a spaceship in space, and they're trying to figure out how to, rescue the day, or whatever. The very end of the game, you create this massive robot suit to fight the bad guy, and then you jump down this elevator shaft and like a superhero thing, and The Touch plays during that scene. That's the first time I ever heard that song.
Wow.
Yeah, completely out of nowhere. But then in the end, the whole game's completely out of nowhere. Yeah.
Okay. Is it my
turn?
turn?
It's your turn. Yeah, you're taking us home.
Okay. So my pick for the number one, and also the most recent, I believe, on this list, is a song that came out of nowhere. It makes no sense within the context of it's another TV show, by the way. It makes no sense in the context of, let's just say, where and when the scene actually takes place. But when I heard it, I fucking loved it because they don't actually start with the song. They say a few lyrics from it first, and then they jump straight into the song itself. And just when the first few lyrics, just like with Lucifer, when the first few lyrics came up, I immediately know where they were going, and I fucking loved it. And it was from season 2 of the Umbrella Academy, when Klaus has to go back to his brothers and sisters, and that one guy with the glasses asks him to give him one last word of godly advice, and he just goes, "Oh my God, we're back again, brothers, sisters, everybody sing!" And it just jumps into the Backstreet Boys movie and the Backstreet Boys song. I mean, just from hearing the first lyrics, I was watching this with my mom, I believe, because we love watching the show together. And I was crying, laughing in that scene, and she didn't know what was going on with me. And then I just said, "Just listen to what he's saying." And then they actually played the song. Then we both had a huge laugh about it. But the reason why I love this song, first of all, I love this song.
Yeah.
it makes no sense in the context because they're in the 60s and this is a 90s song. But also, the reason why I love this song so much is because I recently made a video using that song. So that song was stuck in my head for weeks, if not months.
Yeah.
So I finally got it out of my head, and then the show brought it back into my head with that one specific scene.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't choose that one for my "This Is the End" song then.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Song.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm with you. When I heard him say those words, I was like, no. And then it happened, and you're like, oh, what?
No.
It's like
I had the exact opposite reaction. When I heard say those words, I said, yes.
Well, okay, mine was in the same context as you, but it was more like, no, I can't be going there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't. You don't believe that they're going there.
Yeah,
but they're going there.
Yeah, I know that show is great. I binged both seasons in like a week. Oh,
amazing.
I'm assuming the other two seen it.
I watched like a few episodes. But not.
Oh, you should finish it, man. It's good.
I hope we didn't give you too much of a spoiler.
No context for it.
I was gonna say that's context, so it should be okay. Yeah, definitely check it out, man. And what beauty of it's only like 8 episodes a season, so it's a quick binge.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just 16 episodes then.
Yeah. Okay, and that brings an end to our lists. And so with that brings an end to our show. Thank you very much, 50, and thank you, Richard, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. You guys are always more than welcome back on the show. That goes without saying. So we're going to go around the horn. Richard, I know the answer to this, but where can everybody find you?
At Home Hardware in Terrace, BC. That's about it.
Yeah. No social media with this guy.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kudos. Salute.
Yeah.
That's more
I
his wife's
got
decision.
two young kids and no time for any of that.
Yeah. And what about you, 50?
Everything was important. You can find me on my channel, 50 Shades of Geek. You can find me also. Sometimes I randomly pop into the SCN Facebook group and the Schmodown Facebook group. I'm the guy with the stupid Killmonger mask on that I need to change my profile picture, but I don't really have the time or the want to do that. So also recently I started streaming on Twitch. I did my first Twitch stream last night. It was a complete disaster. Fortunately, nobody's ever going to see it. But over there, I have the username 50 Shades O Geek because apparently somebody already has the username 50 Shades of Geek. So first come, first serve, I suppose. But as you can see over down here, I also have a Twitter handle, but I barely even use it. I don't even remember why I got Twitter because we don't really use Twitter a lot in Israel. It's not very a popular thing.
Oh, okay.
Like if over here it's like you have a Twitter, why would you use a Twitter? Yeah, we use Facebook mostly.
Well, fair enough. Richard, where can everybody find you?
You just said Richard.
I'm sorry. Ben, where should everybody find you?
Can I just point out that it's 2:30 in the morning over here? So
yeah, and I took a stay out. Show.
You lucky guy.
You can find me at Ben Rainier too on Twitter, and I'm part of the Media Spanish Facebook group and all that. And you can also find me on my Schmodown show on every Saturday, Mount Schmodown, where we go back, where we dive into past competitors. And you can find me and Matt in our new show, Shooting the Breeze.
Right on, which we just had our first episode this week, and we had none other than Alex Shawshak, I got it right this time, from Call to Action. And yes, speaking of Schmodown, I do want to say Jordan actually sent us his pick for next week for top 5. It's top 5 Schmodown players and with a manager to manage them.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, and also we have to say why we love them, so that's going to be a tough one. And me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at soda_the_saxman. You can find me over on the Schmoes of the North YouTube channel, where we're breaking down the week in Schmodown all the time. We interview guests. Yesterday, we just dropped our interview with Adam Witt, which is no joke, is the hardest I've ever laughed on camera.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny. I'll send you guys a link to it. You guys got to watch it. So yeah, you can find me there. You can find me over on this channel doing all the same things pretty much as Ben. So yeah, And with that, thank you very much for everyone for joining us, and we shall see you guys later.
See you. Thanks again.
Stay sweaty.
Anytime.